Hello, everybody, and welcome back. This is part 2 of the B1.2C Imperial Diplomacy After Action Report. I once again have Salt here with me.
Hello, good to be back.
And as previously, I am England, and Salt was Congo. And this is where we left off. We were going over Winter Build 1644, heading into 1645. Where I was, of course, at the top as England, as always, and Salt was in a measly 5th place.
We're slowly but surely crawling our way up there.
Downsides of being a regional is you can't just go taking dots all over the world.
Yeah, you only have like 20 more dots than me. It's fine. We can make up that difference whenever we want.
Yes. So I guess without further ado, we'll go into 1645, and we'll see how the moves go. So yeah, here we go. I guess, do you want to start with you, and then I can just go over all the other stuff going on in the world?
Yeah, I can start off. So right now I'm just continuing my attack against Portugal. I think I did offer them a Janissary deal here, but they didn't take it, which fair enough. I don't think I was actually serious about it. Just kind of making sure that I wanted them to accept it because obviously if they accepted it, I could get them to like attack France here, which is my main concern right now. But even if they did accept it, I'd probably still do these moves here because Portuguese dots are very, very, very tasty, and I see them, so I have to take them.
Salt has glasses.
Yeah. So here I'm trying to. I really want to secure Keiko here because that's kind of like the linchpin of getting around to the other side of Africa here. So right now, Portugal and France both have these fleets here, and I can't touch them at all. And there's no one I can really work with either that has these fleets. Abyssinia kind of has some fleets up in the north, but those aren't going to be helping me anytime soon because the Ottomans exist, and the Ottomans. We do want the Ottoman war to happen up here, but the downside of that is I can't get these fleets to go and help me out with Portugal or France here. And the Indian Ocean is also kind of lacking for people to help me out here. I think I did reach out to you at one point or another to like kind of come around and attack France.
It was much later on, but you like reached out, and I was like, no, actually, I'm just going to disband this fleet and rebuild it somewhere else.
Yeah, that's kind of where we're at. Like Portugal and France both have these fleets. I can't do anything about it. And if I want to do anything about it, I have to first take Cape Co, which is a little bit of a challenge right now. So I try to take it here, but my support is tapped from South Atlantic, and if I try to do it the other way around, that would have gone tapped too. So that's not really going well for me. Dutch are the ones attacking me in South Atlantic, which is a little weird because I've already essentially taken over their colony in Africa. If Dutch wanted to say this, then they really needed to act earlier. And even then, I think like it's better for them to just write this off. But they don't want to do that. So right now, I have a war in South Atlantic Ocean over essentially just one dot. So St. Helena and Marsdod, kind of. So I'm trying to core St. Helena because it's really just a fancy hold. I don't want to move that fleet in case the Dutch fleet in South Atlantic came after it. But yeah, it does worse. So we're facing two fleets in South Atlantic now, and France is hostile, so that's probably a lost cause. But we are making up ground up north against Dutch. So that's an easy 3 dots left because I can get both their remaining centers and South home. I do remember both Mapuche and you asking for South home at this point. I was getting a little bit annoyed.
Hey, well, you hadn't taken it yet, so it was a free dot.
Yeah, I really should have taken it sooner, but the positioning is just so much better against Dutch. I didn't want to give up the info for it.
Yeah.
So I just left it alone. So I get all these requests for. Can I just take this one dot? I think Mapuche was the worst one about it. Like, why did I want a Mapuche fleet in the middle of my
what?
territory here?
Mapuche was similar to me.
Years, it makes sense. Yeah,
Like, it may make sense
but it
because,
was
like, I have
annoying.
this. But,
Yeah, but you
like,
did give up Niani to try and
well,
go
this
through
was dead
the
anyways, though.
Gold Coast for it.
This was dead anyways. There was no holding that at this
Yeah,
point.
that's fair.
And we'll get to why later. There was, so you can look at this. If you look at this position like this, you'll be like, Prussia, you definitely could have held that. I mean, look, it's like permanently holdable against because you have France on your side. We'll get to that in a second.
Yeah, you stat France, right? Or
I
yeah,
can
sorry, we'll get to that.
neither confirm nor deny the allegations.
Yeah, so that's why I'm going to Lopez Bay instead of the Angola Basin because I want to make sure that I can secure South Tone. I think you might try for it, so I want to make sure I can put two on it.
Yeah, I was hoping that you would do
So, but because
this.
I'm not in, if you hadn't said anything about South Tone, I would have
Oh,
because it is just objectively better to defend Spain. Illinois against Dutch here.
see, you also, I think for
I
you at least, it's pretty tolerable to have me here because I'm essentially your client state in this sort of sense, in keeping
You
everyone else
are,
at bay.
but Sao
Like,
Tome is just kind of. I can't have any foreign fleet there. That's a dot that I'm always going to want to take. And if you're in both there and Corbenton, I can't move through Gold Coast either. Yes, then
well,
you'll. I
Salt,
don't think you would like that.
what you should have done is you should have said, no, you can't have it with the fleet, but if you convoy when you retreat Niani, you can convoy in, okay?
Would you have like agree to that though? I don't
Yes,
think so.
I needed the build.
Would you?
I needed the build.
Fair enough. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I think Sao Tome is like a crucial dot, especially if you already have the Dutch colony up there.
Yeah,
I
it's
can't
just
really like dot you for it either. So
yeah, because if I convoy in, I can sit an army here and the fleet here and just support it, and you'd have to divert this to
yeah,
cut. But then, like, what do you even? Anyway, this is funny, but
even if it was
wasn't
free,
happening.
I can't really like having a war with your colony is kind of a bad idea because right now your armies, if we were at war, they would just suicide themselves into attacking me. At least that's what I think would happen.
Maybe. I mean,
Um,
I might just disband them all at this rate because, like, yeah.
yeah.
Anyways,
Other trends, Ottomans are attacking Abbey still. I love to see those Ottoman units going not south towards me, so that's pretty fun to see. I still don't like the Ottoman Poland alliance here, so I am kind of hoping that you can hang on as much as possible so that they don't unite, because once they kill you, they just go through me, and that's when bad things happen to me.
yes.
Abyssinia is doing what they can. I think it's hard to tell. I think they're on the back foot here, but Azeron is going to give them some more dots here to kind of defend. So they'll take the last two Azeron dots, and that'll kind of be that.
Yep.
I think that's it for Africa so far.
Yeah, I guess we'll get to me. I'll get to my other positions later. I'll start with India. My proposal to Mughals here is, hey, I understand if you want to attack me because I stabbed Portugal and it looks kind of tempting. But if you attack me here, you're going to get barreled over by the Safavids in the north, who will crush you like it's nothing. So what we should do instead is you should move your units generally in this direction, and I will support you into Goa in fall because I can. Either I can support them in, or they can just support themselves in and cut this, right? And I think it's a relatively reasonable offer because I am correct if if the Mughals commit to fighting me here, then they do just get like this. Like, I think everyone can see what this looks like, right? Like
Yeah, we all know what's coming here.
this is the hammer dropping on Mughal. So my proposal is basically like, we can have peace. You can fight Safavids, and also that he'll have a much easier time attacking Ayutthaya than me, funnily enough. Because if he doesn't want to move these units west, because it's a bit of a journey, what he can do instead is he could have moved this fleet here, he can move this army here, and then he gets his pick of Ava or Pegu, and if he can rally Ming support for it, which I bet he could, because this is a pretty clear alliance with Ming, if you can rally Ming support for it, then they can get both. They can get Ava and Pegu at the same time, and Ayutthaya just gets crushed, right? So I feel like this is a pretty reasonable proposal. Mughals decides that it's not reasonable at all, and he decides to attack me. for basically Raja Mahendri is what the result is going to be this year. But the cost of running this attack on me is that he doesn't have the reinforcements or the firepower to fight Safavids in the north. So Yarkand is lost, which was inevitable, to be fair. But Kabul will also be lost now because of this decision. And potentially Ahmedabad and Delhi are also both going to be under fire because Mughals is focusing on fighting me instead of setting up a border with me right here and letting me do this, and instead of taking Ayuttai's dots. So I see this as a mistake for Mughals. Obviously, I'm not going to win the fight against them because Portugal has 2 centers in the region, but it's taking the stab so poorly they're keeping 4 units around just to fuck with me. Which is their prerogative.
Yeah,
it's
I think
just,
Portugal
it's
is
just
just purely reactive at this point. They're barely making plans for themselves at all.
Yeah, which, I mean, sure, you can do that. But the whole reason I stabbed them in the first place is because they were a poor ally who misordered and cost us a year of progress against the Mughals. So I don't feel particularly bad about how this is going and how they're being spiteful because they were already a poor ally to begin with, right? That's how I see it. I don't see this as much of a loss because given how they were ordering, this type of outcome was inevitable at that rate. Anyways,
yeah, that misorder early on really did just kill any.
There was no more.
Mules.
Yeah, no more momentum. There was nothing. So, and then also they refused to build a fleet in argument to attack Poland or France with. So they were just useless all around the board. Especially because I had all these fleets and because Inuit made peace with me. So I had a whole bunch of fleets.
Just a dead Portugal.
Yeah, that's it's not a dead Portugal quite because South America is doing surprisingly well, and Africa is doing okay, and Europe's doing okay. But they are actively throwing. What is this? Not throwing necessarily. They are cannibalizing gains from the rest of their colonies to prop up their effort to make my game worse. When to be fair, if they had conceded India and just said, okay, you can have it, I'll disband these units, then I probably wouldn't have taken Azores from them, right? So
yeah, it's honestly incredible that with them playing like this, they still managed to keep Mikau. It's great.
Yeah.
Mikau is somehow still alive despite all of this.
Well, about that.
I spoke too soon. Oh no. There goes Portugal.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh wow. Well, at least you can see that one's dying too.
You can see. Well, if they had disbanded some of these units, they could have built another fleet in Timor, and then this would have been fine. But they didn't. Similar story in South America, where if they had been able to build another unit here, they could have really gotten into the Guarani, right? But they didn't, so they didn't.
Yeah.
Because imagine here if Portugal has an army right there, right, and they have army here and fleet here. You could convoy all around, and you just win. Even if you can't land the convoy in Mbaya, you can land the convoy into Lackland, and then you can pressure like this, and you can get another army in here from Ofaye, and I mean you just win. I mean it's just very good. But
yeah,
they get emotional.
Just situations like these where having 13 players on the same country really hurts because you can't make these kinds of choices where you sacrifice one area to build up another, especially when it's a democracy. People will never vote for their own area to be kind of told another area can grow, so you can never just make these decisions, which can be really important to a colonial in general.
Yes, and I will mention obviously they told me beforehand hey, if you stab me here, I'm going to we are going to try to make your game as painful as possible. But to be entirely frank, when people make threats like that, I stab them more often than not. I will stab you if you make a threat like that to me. I will stab you because you made that threat.
Yeah.
Right, because I find it kind of pathetic. It's well, I'm going to throw my entire game away to fight you. Okay, well then you're an even worse ally than I thought you were in the first place, and you already weren't a good one if I'm stabbing you.
Don't negotiate with terrorists ever.
Yeah, no, I shoot them.
That's how it works.
Yep. Okay, so that's India and Portugal all boiled out. It's whatever. Africa. I kind of move away from Niani. I have given up on this colony in a big sense, because Portugal is forever hostile, and they already were useless, right? They already didn't build this fleet. If Africa was going to go well, I needed Portugal to build this fleet, to go here and to pressure Poland like this. I needed France to cooperate with me earlier, move a lot of the Tukalor like I instructed them to do, and then with this type of position, with the fleet here, with a fleet here. Right, let me just fleet here, and armies here, and my armies here and here. Then we could tie a noose around Poland's neck and get at these dots, right? And then my African colony would be very valuable. But
I think the real problem here is that Poland has 4 units, but only 2 dots. Like they have double the amount of units here to centers, and that's because nobody in Europe is really pressing them at all. If Poland had like two units for their 2 dots, you would actually have a way better position here.
yes,
And because of that, like that's the only reason why you're being like put out to that.
That is a big reason. But if we had this position I mentioned, where France did what France did what we agreed, and where Portugal invested in this fleet, even with these 4 units, we would still win because we could force disband the armies, right?
Yeah,
we could force the overinvestment out of Poland, and he would not be able to reinvest. He could build something here, but it just, same problem, forced disband. But because France wasn't cooperative, and because Portugal wasn't, they're a democracy, so they're not going to vote for an investment. They're going to vote for, dividends, like right now, payout right now. They're not going to do the investment and do that, so they weren't very useful anyways. So this is basically like just the colony's not very useful anymore. Because inevitably in this position, Portugal's going to cut Niani, and they will put, at least I know in fall Poland's going to put 3 onto Mali, combine like this, and my Niani will be cut. So it will fall. So I decide to move Manden to Gold Coast to try to go for Sao Tome, because it's been open for a few years now, and every time you have a fleet here, you just do this. So I am like, I'm taking the gamble, because there's no downside to this gamble, and the upside is that if you tried to go snipe my dot, I could bounce you. But in any case, it's whatever. I don't value this colony that much. Elsewhere, I stab France. I stab France because France retreated into my dot last year. And I...
How dare they?
I have uses for allies who are poor at tactics and poor at following orders. Those are 2 bad traits for an ally to have, and they will make me very tempted to stab you, but they are not deal breakers together. I can work around it. What I cannot work around are allies who are poor tactically, poor at following orders and doing what I say, and who take my dots. That's where I draw the line, right? Like, I feel like that's pretty reasonable,
Really has played this game like somebody who is trying to push you as far as possible to see how much it'll take for you to
snap
back them. Yeah.
And because Inuit made peace with me, I have all these fleets in the North Atlantic, and they're not doing anything. So wouldn't you believe it? I see a lot of dots here, and I have some units to take those dots with. So I do that. Elsewhere, like the stab is like Caribbean's dead. France is just dead in the Caribbean. That's just how it is.
What's that convoy?
This is Spain and I are working together at this point. Spain wants to convoy an army in to fight Utrashone, and I recognize the threat that they pose, and B, I recognize that if Spain has a bunch of armies here to fight this guy, then he's not going to have a bunch of armies here to fight this guy. So I'm very happy to put Spain's armies up there and have a good time.
Yeah. And the 4th Fleet convoy always just looks nice.
Yeah, and this is a very smooth one too. It's like, up and at 'em.
Yeah.
Very good.
I like it.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, and I had been trying to cooperate with France to get rid of Poland, but France didn't want to use Guiana Current against Poland. France didn't want to do this, basically, which is what France would have had to do to be useful here. France would have had to move Guiana Current to Gulf of Paria to encircle the Polish colony, right? And then I can move Antigua here. He can move Sierra here, and we can surround it with units here and here and here. And, well, it's either, to illustrate, it's either going to be here, 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 or it's going to be here, here, and here. Either way, we apply 3 to Barbados, then we apply 2 to Paria, then we kill New Courland, and Polish colony dies. But France is not interested. France really wants to go to the South Atlantic because this 1 dot in Cape Coa is just so important to him. So he's still not very useful.
Don't remind me.
So yeah, France overcommits to this stupid war with you that gets him nothing when he literally could have just, like, free dot off a dying power.
It's been begging him to take that dot for so long, and he just refuses to. It's the most infuriating thing ever. Well, I would actually no. I need a. That's not. The most infuriating thing ever happens later on in this.
Yes.
But it does involve France. So.
But like the thing about France and Portugal in this game is that the reason I stab them is very complicated, and also very simple at the same time. Very complicated in that there are a lot of little things that they do that cause me to stab them, but very simple in that it all boils down to them just not being very useful. So if you're gonna work with somebody, you should really be providing something. You shouldn't just be a dead weight who refuses to help them and then be all surprised when they stick a knife in your back.
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought? Yeah, good question. Not me. So yeah,
So
that's my
before we
7th
go
France.
to fall,
I also
Right, do you have more?
yeah. So I'm trying to help Dutch here. Right, I go to Dutch and I'm like, hey Dutch, so I am not a big fan of France right now, so we should cooperate in fighting them. I can help you in North America, and I can help you stay around in Europe, because without me, France could theoretically, do this to you, like that, and if I'm not supporting you to hold, then, if he brings another army, he could take your dot, or whatever. And, well, you can see exactly what the Dutch thought about that idea, right?
Yeah, that could work.
No,
like it.
but you can see what the Dutch thought about that idea, right?
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
Priorities, right? Priorities. So they just lose Utrecht
Why
with no
is
counterplay.
North Sea just holding here?
This was a misorder. I should have had it support holding, but I thought it was such a stupid idea that the Dutch would do this. Like this is the last thing you'd expect, I think, from the Dutch in this position, right?
Yeah, this is just. Ugh.
It is literally the worst. This is the second worst moveset you could enter. The worst moveset you could enter is this. Very close second, because then you could lose Ghent and Utrecht both with no counterplay. But this is
France
not...
does tap Ghent here.
Yeah, so like, it doesn't matter, but like, it's...
Ugh. Yeah, that's just annoying to deal with.
Yeah, the Dutch...
Why did you not defend yourself?
the Dutch, in their void, called my press that of a gaslighting boyfriend, and I will say that is funny, but I think that the moves speak for themselves. Anyways.
I think Dutch got so upset with you for the earlier attack.
The first stab.
That they just kind of disregarded everything you said. Afterwards, like even with my stab, I think because you stabbed them first, they were more upset with you. So I could kind of just like hide behind that, and I kind of like claim as the still a bad guy, but like it's not as bad as
at least I'm not England,
exterior.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't really work for you. Didn't really work for you very well, now did it?
I actually do want to talk about that. Do you have the retreats map here, or is it?
I just go through moves. Oh my god, don't look at that map. That's so disgusting.
Okay.
We'll talk about that.
So, you never want to dislodge a fleet in a high seas tile unless you are absolutely forced to. So, you can see that my fleet in SAO1 is dislodged, right?
Yep.
And I am spoiled for choice here on where I want this fleet to retreat here. So if you're Dutch, this is probably a attack on me, right? We didn't talk about this. I didn't say as we move out of this space. They didn't ask for passage here, so this is most likely a way to add me somehow. And if you want to do that, you want to make sure I get as few dots as feasibly possible. If
Mhm.
you were just lodging a fleet in a high seas tile, I have so many options on where where I can send that fleet to next. Like if we look down at Mapuche, I think Falklands would be free if I wanted to go
Yep,
for it.
free.
Yeah, I think Portugal actually did try get me to go there. Like I can go
You can
to
also
South Pacific.
go there, Salvador.
Uh-huh. I can threaten Portugal here. I can
You go
threaten
this way.
Marshad and go to like St. Marcos Bay and threaten them up north. Any any retreat option I have is just worse than letting me do whatever move I would have made in the first place here, because this essentially lets me get to move after seeing what everybody else does. That's a lot of power to have. So, and like this could have accomplished the same thing if Dutch had just supported and went to like SEO4. They still would have gotten the fleet in. They still would have had it guaranteed, and they wouldn't have given me the choice of where I can send this fleet to next. Basically, now what I can do is I can position myself somewhere to make sure Dutch don't can't really get anything off me. Like if I remember right, I think I go to Angola Basin,
Let's see.
make sure that Dutch can't slip a fleet
You
in
actually
there.
aren't. You actually don't retreat here, because
Oh,
the support was cut. So that was a really good speech about why you shouldn't dislodge people in oceans, but well, she didn't. So problem
I
solved.
think
She dislodged Mapuche
I
here.
think I
See, Mapuche was the one who got
right
dislodged.
right okay. Speaking on that, Portugal did go to Mapuche, asking them to go to Angola Basin here because they'd have a free dot
Yeah.
off of me if they did so. And Mapuche tells me about it, so that's how I know. We can go to fall here.
Let me just go over it, make sure I didn't miss anything. I tried to convoy into France. I tried to get France to do some like dumb move to Iberian Current, but they didn't fall for it, tragically. Very
And
sad,
French
very
Austria
sad.
is both counting them too.
Yes. In other news, what else happens? Yeah, peace with Inuit. Inuit are leaving at the right moment I need them to. Because I've basically worn them down so much, and I'm like, if you want to keep going, you can, but like Athabasca is going to get dots, and you're not going to get dots, so leave, and he does. And then yeah, Spain and I are cooperating at this point for now. Anyways, fall, yes. We'll just go over this.
I do want to note that Mapuche retreated up to Seaward Seamount and is going to snipe
Oh
Portugal's dot
yeah,
there.
Cabo Verde, yes. I remember seeing that
So
Mapuche fleet there forever.
Portugal asked them to take a dot off of me, and then Mapuche takes a dot off of Portugal. We did have this huge anti-colonial chat between all the regionals, and Mapuche was one of the more involved people on that. So I think that's why they decided to do this. But I was very
It doesn't surprise
happy
me.
seeing this move.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
later on Mapuche, well, they were annoying. That's all I can say. Also, to note for people, for whatever reason, our GMs decided to allow people to change their country color at this point. So the map looks a little bit different. And by different, I mean extremely ugly. Oh my god, I want to burn my eyes out looking at this. And that's just with a few of them changing the colors. Like what? You can't see the top of the screen, but the colors. Basically, what happens is we get moved to like some dark mode map, which is the logical one, and the regular Imptip map that looks like this. It has all the colors flipped forever. So this is the only one without dark mode, which actually looks like passable. So we're gonna be only seeing this color palette this one time. Because like, why did you? Like, Ming took Inuit's color. Like what? No, absolutely not. Anyways,
Yeah.
fall moves. I don't know. Anything significant here?
This is a pretty painful turn for me, all things considered. I am taking 3 dots up north against Dutch and South Home, but I'm also losing so many others. Like St. Helena's lost because I missed the guess in South Atlantic and I tapped the wrong fleet.
Yep.
I tapped SEO2 or no, I tapped SEO3, but it was the one moving, so I missed that guess. I lose a dot there. With Portugal, I I don't know why, but I assumed that they wouldn't go to Barrett's here. I assumed they would support Delagoa in the south or go to cover Beira, but I missed that guess too, and so I get that one wrong. I did not. I do end up taking Delagoa back. I do take Moravi, so it's still +1, or no, it's neutral against them.
Yeah.
So it's not like the end of the world. I could have taken Mapondo and Bounce Barotes with Kalahari, and that would have just been infinitely better for me.
Let's
But
see.
I missed that
Yeah.
guess, and not having that army in
Yeah,
the
like
Mapondo
that.
is gonna haunt me. I also missed an opportunity to take Cape Go here. My South Atlantic Fleet and my armies collaborated here. I actually could have taken it,
Could have done
and that's
that.
going to be a pretty big regret this game. But we'll get to that. Ajuron also steals Burundi back from me, so I think I offered them support into Banioro. I
That sounds
wasn't
like
going to
something
get
you
it,
would.
of course.
That sounds like something you would do.
Yeah,
You'd be like, "Yeah, I'll help you,
it kind of
buddy.
sounded like me.
I'll help you."
I just want him to not go for Burundi, and that's of course what ends up happening. So I lose that one too, but it's not the end of the world. I can pretty easily take that dot back, especially because Abby really needs me to stay on their side here.
Yeah, because beleaguered garrison right here. Beleaguered garrison.
Yeah,
2 versus 2.
Adron actually has a okay-ish turn here. They are still alive.
Them existing is a very good
Ottomans.
turn for them.
Yeah, I am still promising support to both the Ottomans and Abby here. I haven't actually taken a side here yet, so I am going like both of them. I am promising support to both sides here. At this point, though, I am like pretty concrete in what I'm actually going to do. I'm planning to support B in this war. I think the Ottomans just have too many armies in Africa for me to be comfortable working with them, and their progress with Poland in the West really has me swayed too, because if they're working with Poland and they're supporting Poland into Mali here, then that they really don't plan to go west at all. And the army moves from Hagar eastwards also
Yes.
means that they don't plan to get their expansion in west. And that's the only other place those armies can really go that isn't me. So this pretty much confirms to me that if I do help them out, then they will just attack me immediately after. Then I have like a huge Poland too to deal with. So I want to make sure that I can at least neuter Ottomans as much as I can before Poland chews through you here, and they can like actually function as a unit against me.
Also, note the French giving support and then getting their dot taken away.
Classic
What?
France.
Yeah, that's about the policy cohesion we expect from France right there.
Yeah, if we look at Sotheby's real quick, I've been going to Sotheby's practically every turn now. I've been writing them huge X walls. I get them to stab the elements here, and they keep kind of agreeing to it and then backing out at the last second. So they moved their fleet to Persian Gulf in spring. And I was pretty excited about that one because come on, was a fleet there do besides stab? And then they don't stab.
Yep.
And like they're making like the worst moves ever. Like you see Durbank going to Caspian Sea, and then Tabriz support a unit that's moving away. I hate it. I hate it so much. And especially because like they're supporting Poland into Kharkov. Like that was agreed upon with the Ottoman player, but I don't understand
why are the Ottomans? But like, why are the Ottomans agreeing to any of this? Poland has 2 dots and 4 units down here. Build a fleet and build another army
Ottomans are
and just
holding
stab
everything
them.
too.
Just stab them. They have so many dots and they have no units. And the other thing is, it's not even so many dots, no units. It's like, you're doing this. But Ottomans are also working closely with Austria here, right? So if the Ottomans
no direction at all.
If the Ottomans go to Austria and they're like, hey, you know how Poland has no units in their homeland? You know what we should do? I got a crazy idea. We should get a pair of glasses and we should see those dots. And then we take them.
It's crazy to me because there's so many free dots here, and he has some units too to actually do something about it.
Yeah,
And,
like
the Safavid fleet over in Persian Gulf, like, I don't know who you are, but if you were playing this country here and there is a Safavid fleet in Persian Gulf, they are attacking you 9 times out of, like, 99% of the time. This fleet is a hostile fleet that's going to attack you. This is like the one time where it doesn't do that,
yeah,
and they're not moving armies towards Safavids to defend what is usually a staff. So
yeah.
I don't really get this either.
No comprendo.
But Africa is the one place where they're investing so much in, and of course, that's why I can't really feel comfortable working with them.
And they're investing all of this, and what exactly are they getting out of this? They're getting Axum.
It's feeling really back
I
at
guess 18.
like back and forth right now. It's surprisingly even.
Well, it's because the
Like,
Ottomans
they're
don't have
getting-
fleets here. These are 3 armies, so they're not useful. If there was a fleet
Yeah.
here and a fleet here and a fleet here, then Abyssinia would get crushed, and it would not be difficult for the Ottomans. They would just crush them, like boom, 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 like dead.
Yeah, if we hadn't killed Egeron immediately, then this would be a very different war.
Yep. Anyways,
And if I had joined in too, then
yeah, that's a lot. I guess I'll explain my position now, because yeah, that's it's good but bad down there.
Yeah.
So now that Mughals have stabbed me, I basically have to maneuver to like save as many dots as I can. So at this point, Cochin is only savable if I guess. It's a bunch of guesses, basically, right?
yeah,
my-
these kind of just look like a nightmare.
My assumption in this position, so if I go back to like the previous map, right? Like, is there a decent map I can map out what happened? I guess I'll go here and map out where things landed. It landed as Portugal having a fleet here, a fleet here, a fleet here, and an army they retreated right there to Madurai. So that's the Portuguese. Ayutthaya has a fleet here, and the Mughals have armies here, and here, and here, and a fleet here. Okay, so that's what I'm dealing with. I have 6 units to defend against with all of this. One of them is stuck in Ceylon, because I ended up with a fleet. Their armies. I have armies here. I have armies here, 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 and here. So my conclusion to all of this complication, basically, is that it is extremely likely that Portugal is going to use at least 2 fleets on Cochin. At least, like, they should be using one of these, like, 2 of these fleets on Cochin. And the army, I give it a decent shot that the army just moves like this, right, to force it. Portugal cannot cover Maldives. Maldives is a free dot if I want to walk into it, because they went, right? God, yeah, it's free because they moved this fleet from Laccadive Plateau to Venad, which is the most useless spot you could put that fleet, by the way, because now Maldives is free. So my conclusion basically is that I'll take Maldives for free, because the alternative is cutting Madurai, but then it's only a 50-50 that I can keep Cochin, because you'd expect them to move this with support. This is all very complicated. I just spent like a solid half an hour just thinking about all the outcomes here. But the long and short of it is that cutting Madurai is only useful about 50% of the time. Only saves me a dot about 50% of the time, where moving to Maldives gets me a dot 100% of the time. So I do it. And then with the rest of things, I decide, as you can see, I vacate Madras, because I don't think Ayutthaya is going to tap there, just in case I have builds, right? I could theoretically get builds, and I will get builds, because I'm killing France. So if I wanted to, if the press goes well over the fall with like Ayutthaya or Portugal, then I could put a new fleet here and I could project power again. So I vacate Madras like that, and then I support Bellari right here to hold in place with this army, because my assumption is that this is the last unit that will be cut by any Portuguese move, because they have no reason to cut it, and because if I did end up moving it, say to like Penaroo, and they tried to cut it, they would lose the center. And that's how I calculated those tactics. Also, I moved Vajrapahendra down this way, because there's nothing better to do. Mughals are obviously going to take these 2 units and force it.
Yeah,
So I may as well see if I can bounce. So that's how you end up with this,
Okay.
where the Mughals and Ayutthaya miscoordinate. For whatever reason, they force the Gulf of Mannar when I was obviously going to walk out of it anyways. I guess they really want
Even
to
if they succeed at that, they just get you a free retreat to Maldives.
Yeah, it's like I don't
It's
quite.
just giving you a free dot. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
And then
we
yeah,
don't say no to free dots.
Ayutthaya should have been supporting Mughals in here like this if they wanted to, but I guess they were afraid that I would cut Andracost. Now, to be clear, cutting Andracost is the worst move for Gulf of Mannar. You'd rather cut Madurai.
Yeah, and even
But-
then, like, Maldives is right there, too.
Yeah, like C dot.
You
take dot.
never cut Andrew Coast here.
Yeah, never, ever, ever in my life do I cut Andracost here. So, but they think I will, so they make these weird tactical moves. Portugal uses Madurai to support themselves into Cochin, which means if I had done this, like, technically, because their tactics were so bad, if I had done this move to Madurai, I would have gotten the small upside of getting to retreat afterwards to Maldives. The downside is that I would have, in this position, I keep Bellari, because Palyakar here supports Bellari to hold against the Mughal attack, right? So even if I had done this whole Song and Dances moveset, I still would have lost Bellari, and this would have been a forced disband because it would have been a forced disband because I vacated Madras.
Yeah, I mean, these tactics are just hard to predict. Like, even if you are dealing with three players here, they're hard to predict. But with Portugal, it's so much worse because you don't know which of the 13 of them are doing the tactics for this.
You don't know if they're gonna
you can't
misorder
predict
and
anything.
enter a support as an attack instead. Yeah.
Yeah. I like how Portugal can't coordinate with just anyone here,
Mm-hmm.
and nobody can coordinate proper moves with them. It's great.
I did try to see if Mughals would make peace with me here. I offered them. I was just like, okay, take Raja Mahendri, it's whatever. And then I said, I'll support you into Goa like this. And they didn't take it. They tried to do this because I think they thought that I would believe them and use Palyakar to like save Cochin. But I wasn't doing that anyways. So yeah, congratulations, your attack didn't work.
Yeah, Mughals really needs all the dots they can get with Socrates just coming at them.
Yeah, and this is pretty much the worst moveset that you can take as Mughals to get dots in Southern India because you don't get Mosul, Patnam, or Goa. You only get Raja Mahendri, which, like, sure, yeah, 1 dot. And for whatever reason, now they're fighting Ming. I don't know. This could have been avoided easily by Mughals roping Ming into an attack on Ayutthaya, but they didn't, so now they have to fight them. Also, yeah, I mean, they
celebration. Coffees is just...
So they manage.
God.
They avoid.
It's so many armies.
They avoid losing Kabul here, and Ahmedabad. So Mughals comes to me and they're like, "Ha! I didn't die," and I'm like, "Wait for next year, buddy. You will. You will."
Yeah. Like, Socrates are gonna take Ahmedabad guaranteed next year at the bare minimum.
Yeah, because cut.
Oh.
Cut.
Yeah, from
cut,
there it's just
dead.
even worse.
And then you can convoy. I told Zafovitz, hey, you could just convoy an army in.
Meanwhile, I'm seeing Sophies pull off a stab like this. I just need to do the exact same thing to their other neighbor, who has all these great centers right next to them, and they just won't take them.
Well, Mughals are a more tempting target. Let's see. Elsewhere is pretty self-explanatory. I'm just holding here in channel. Now, the really funny thing is that France supports himself into the channel, which you'd expect, and tries to support the Dutch to hold in Amsterdam instead of walking out of the dot. And the Dutch still support themselves to Southern Bight, as usual. So I'm like, whatever. This is all very funny. Also, this entire time, Sweden is like almost dying to this or whatever, right? And they're like constantly like, please don't stab me, please don't stab me. And I'm like, dude, I'm not going to stab you. You're a buffer state against Poland. I just told them that.
With the Army Oxford, I'd be very tempted to convoy into Christiania here.
Well, that's one of the ideas is like, if Sweden is so bad at tactics they collapse, then yeah, I'll put an army in Christiania. But otherwise, I can just defend myself with that.
If it were me, I think I'd probably do it regardless. I don't know if I could resist the urge.
Yeah,
take
but
their dots.
I like the buffer state because as long as Sweden has this dot, it's another unit on the front line with Poland, and Poland has been
Yeah,
duplicitous.
Poland is a huge problem.
Yes. I forgot about the French prayer. We'll talk. Yeah, talk about that in a minute. In the Atlantic, I take the Azores because Portugal is doing whatever this is, and not getting. They're not. By the way, they're not getting anything out of this, right? They get 1 dot for their trouble,
And they lose Maldives. Or do they take 2 here?
Well, they get 1 net because they lose this, but they take these 2.
Yeah, you're right.
But of course, they also like. I mean, they don't lose 2 here. They lose only Macau.
Somehow. How the hell is Portugal getting into Philippines here?
I have no idea.
Oh my god.
I mean, they're still losing Flores, though, and they're still losing Donny because they didn't cover it for some reason. I don't...
Yeah, I'm just surprised that Portugal is managing to rat their way into a few dots here.
They rat their way into this dot, but they don't cover that one.
Oh my god.
Like,
I don't even understand what Coral Sea is trying to do here. Like, in what world do Dutch
yeah, and what would the Dutch do
take
this?
that support?
They don't, because it's cut. Anyways, that's really funny. Okay, these are fake moves, by the way. This is Inuit being weird, as usual. Speaking of Inuit, I also vacate Greenland here because we have peace and this fleet's not really a threat. And if they ever do make like a move like here, if they try to do the same setup again, right? If they convoy across or whatever, I have 5 fleets in the North Atlantic, so nothing happens.
Yeah.
They just lose.
Inuit aren't making any progress there.
Also, I help them into a dot, so they like that generally. I could have had that dot myself, but I think that Inuit being kind of propped up is useful to an extent to me because I don't know, they're
You can throw them a bone, I guess.
yeah.
I don't know. I'm a little biased against them for things that'll happen later on.
Yes. So down here, Netherlands got forced out of Ville Marie and then retreated to Oneida. And they moved to New Amsterdam, and they tell me, like, oh, well, you see, you're higher up the board than Francis, so that's why I gotta do this. Despite me being like, hey, if you go to Philadelphia, I will let you have Seneca and you can build here, and we can work together in Europe against France. But like you said, the Dutch are just disregarding everything I say actively at this point. So that proposal doesn't work. They take New Amsterdam, which they're never going to hold against me.
No.
Right? Like, there's no world.
Don't want the coastal dots when England has 5 fleets in North.
Yeah, no, you want to be England's friend in this position, unless you're like crazy, I guess, which the Dutch are. Congratulations. And then we see I stabbed Spain in the Caribbean. There are a few reasons for this. They were like kind of.
You have glasses.
Yeah, I have glasses. Yes. So the first reason, to be entirely honest, is because I saw that I could take 2 of their dots, and I like dots generally. But I also remember being vaguely suspicious of them.
They convoy to Honduras and then bounce that convoy with their fleet.
Well, they tried to convoy
There's no way.
They tried to convoy to Honduras, but one of these, if I remember correctly, one of these fleets ordered a convoy to Yucatan or something like that.
Oh, okay. What I'm saying here is that, like, Poland Ridge is that convoying the army to Honduras, and Bayatama bounces the army convoy. Is that what happened?
I'm gonna grab.
That's just hilarious. If that's actually what happened, that's so funny.
Let me see.
I've never seen somebody bounce out of their own convoy before.
I'm going to see if I can grab the order log so I can verify. I forget how exactly this went down.
Yeah, there's like Guatemala Basin is also convoying. Like maybe it was trying to convoy to Yucatan and not Honduras, and they misordered it.
Okay, fall.
That's really confusing.
Okay, fall moves. Let's see, Spain. Yeah, so Spain, so Colon Ridge convoyed Quito, Yucatan, and Guatemala Basin, if I can find it here, convoyed Quito to Yucatan. So these both wanted to put it in Yucatan, but he ordered the actual unit in Quito. Let's see.
Oh, he ordered Kyo to Honduras instead.
I think so, yeah.
Okay, that's a painful
Yeah,
misorder
yeah,
too.
he
Three
directly...
units instead of the usual one.
Like this, yeah. So I don't feel bad about stabbing
Works for you,
Spain here,
though.
because Spain tried to stab me, so whatever, man.
Yeah.
This is... So the New World's all going
always
quite...
nice.
The New World's going quite well for me in terms of dots. It's just that, well, India's not going the best, and Africa's not going the best. But I get Niani back here, because my calculation is that Poland is so self-interested that he'll never actually support Portugal to hold in a dot and fall. And I'm immediately proven correct. Right? Like,
Yeah.
instantly, like, oh, correct.
I can't believe they're just supporting Poland. Like, Ottomans have grown for like only +1 or +2 every year here, which is they're the ones supporting Poland instead, which just makes no sense to me. This Ottoman Poland alliance just feels like Ottomans had such a good year one, and they just played so passively ever since.
Yeah.
Watch.
Well, that's life. And then the other thing that's going kind of annoyingly is Netherlands are just really committed to fighting me, despite me, being a better ally for them than anyone else, I think. And this is obviously a going trend. They at one point, I remember they countered one of your moves here by moving like this way. Not countered your moves.
Yeah.
They tried to counter me. Like they wanted to make sure I couldn't take their dot, when I just never would do that because, like, the moment that Dutch is dead here, then I lose everything. So I'm not going to do that. But they don't quite believe that, so it's whatever. And yeah, I mean, New Amsterdam is obviously not going to survive as a dot. That's just not going to happen.
No, that's your finish there.
Yeah, this is not the move of somebody who is trying to do what is best for their position. And that's all I have to say about that. Elsewhere, the French commit 3 of their fleets to Puerto Rico. Instead of, I don't know, gambling on like that, for example. Or on this.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, so they get Puerto Rico back.
They could have made.
They get Puerto Rico back, but they lose everything else.
Yep. Classic France.
That's all I got. I guess we can move on to builds. Wait, builds? Okay, I guess I missed the build. I kind of need those builds though. Okay, 1 second. Intermission.
I can talk about my build real quick. I only went +1 in this phase because I missed a lot of guesses in fall. So I do end up building an army in Timba here because I want to force disband the Portuguese army in Baroque. I kind of just build that army to make sure that Portugal just has no other options. They kind of have to work with me. I think at this point a new player kind of took over the region for.
So here are builds, yeah.
At this point, so I wanted to build a fleet here. I just need the army to make sure that the Portuguese army just has nowhere else to go.
Yeah, you wanna...
And it's kind of helped in forcing the talks for them to vassal themselves to me. If they can't make any progress against me, they're probably more inclined to do that. That's kind of the hope with this army.
Yes. I forget how many built. I think I want to say like 4, maybe 3. I might have only had 3 here actually. 1, 2, 3, and barking dogs in the background for the YouTube video. Apologies for that little surprise. But I have 3 builds, and I need a fleet. I don't need a fleet in London, but it's useful because it allows me to retreat retreat English Channel to Rocco Rise to block off any shenanigans over here, and then Oxford can cover Plymouth, and everything is very good. All as well as that ends well. I kind of am tentatively offering a peace to France here. I'm like, hey, disband Puerto Rico. I don't really get any more of your centers out of this, so I don't really want to fight you anymore here. As long as you're not going to actively... Yeah. Well, I mean, they have no other choice, given, well, you know.
Yeah, fair.
And, let's see. That.
France
Yeah.
is under a little bit of pressure here.
Yeah.
A small amount.
So that's my decision, basically. And then I build armies on the East Coast. This is basically forced by this Dutch move, which is very effective insofar as it forces me to commit to fighting them. But normally in this game, you don't want to make enemies over one dot when you can get a different dot. But Dutch is just going to be receiving basically this to just force New Amsterdam and really make sure that she can't hold on to it. Because I don't negotiate with terrorists, I shoot them.
Yep, that's the way to treat them.
Yeah, so those are my builds. Oh, just a moment.
Poland puts another 2 units into Africa here.
All right.
Portugal, or not Portugal, Poland puts another 2 units into Africa here. So we're now on 6 units for covering 4 dots. And this just worries me a lot more. Like, and of course, Ottomans like only have 2 builds, still builds the army in Ripley here, because why wouldn't you build the army there? I guess not like there's anything more crucial happening anywhere else.
No.
It's so annoying. I can't like Soviet stuff. All these units on the border, but I guess we don't need to worry about that at all. We just got to put even more armies into Africa for
Yes.
some reason. So it just makes me even more concerned about the Ottoman-Poland alliance.
Yeah, it seems pretty clear he wants to have an army there and do this. You know?
Yeah, I'm very lucky that he hasn't done so yet. He's had the chance to do so for about a year now to just go south and start taking dots from me. So I kind of managed to delay him enough with talk to that I'll eventually help him stab Abby. That gave me time to pull units north to actually deal with him.
Yes. So with that in mind, I guess we'll continue into spring. And finally, this is dark mode, which is not as good as the default map, but it is better than wanting to burn my eyes out over the terrible colors people were choosing intentionally to make the map look terrible. And I will not be entertaining them any longer by giving them the time of day. So I guess we can start with your moves first, because they look pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, so the first thing is that I forced to ban Brooks here. So there is a new Portugal player on this section of Portugal, and they're kind of commanding the whole thing from what I could tell. So actually, I think I did manage to get some kind of vassal deal worked out with them. So, like, obviously, I'm picking Barotes, right? If I told them that I wouldn't take the Pondo, I would take Barotes and Beira, I think. And that I would help them get dots off of Acheron and maybe Abbey. I don't remember if I promised them dots against Abbey yet. But the big thing is that Portugal and France are still allied until this turn. I've been trying to make peace with France for a while now, and I've been trying to do whatever I could to make amends that they eventually would just stop defending Cape Co and let me have it. Annoyingly enough, I could have gotten Cape Co this turn, and I didn't go for it, so I'm pretty... we have several regrets this game, and most of them is not taking Cape Co when I could have. But I do, yeah, I want to work with France here. I like separate the Portugal-France alliance. I do offer them Beira. Notably, I did not say that they could convoy in to Beira.
Yeah,
that's what France does.
Yeah, that is with an army and a fleet off the coast. You can literally do nothing about that ever.
What is this French army do? Do we have any guesses here?
Stay.
This is like the most. I hate this move so much because if France is genuinely trying to be my friend, like they're telling me they want to be, there is absolutely no reason for this army to be here. It just it forces me to keep like 2 armies right on this little on full area to make sure this army can't go anywhere. So instead of like being able to like pull forces away, like I would have done if we were actually friends, instead I just have to keep these forces here because now France is going to try something if I ever move away. So
This is very on
that's a
brand for this
super
France
fun
player.
discussion.
This is exactly what I would
Yeah,
expect
and
from them.
when I question them about this, they just give me like, "Oh, it's just gonna sit there. Don't worry about it. It's not gonna do anything." Like I can't trust that. So it's the whole. I hate this move so much from France. It just needlessly antagonizes me for no gain, really. Because even if they do manage to take a dot off me, I have so many arms in the area that I just take it right back. They want
Yeah.
to make any progress with this Madagascar area. I think like Azeron could be a good direction. Indian Ocean is right there. Like they are war with you, so they could go
Oh, I
that
actually,
way.
actually, when I stabbed them, I was like, "Hey, let's not fight in the Indian Ocean because we'll both just lose from it." And he was like, "I mean, like probably, yeah."
Oh my gosh.
This is
Yeah,
what
I keep the
well, this is what I do with some of my wars with the Colonials. I'll be like, "Hey, I mean, I know we're fighting everywhere else, but like, let's just not do this. Like, let's just not." And it works really well for both of us here. Actually, is that well? I say it works really well. His colony lives, and in my colony, it lives and prospers.
Yeah. I picked the hornet's nest of France when I attacked Cape Coat last year. So now he has like no other like I'm the only person that's like antagonized him at all in the area. Now all these units are going towards me because they just have nothing better to do. And it's
Mm-hmm.
the most frustrating thing ever. Um, the happier things, I think. Do I manage to take St. Helens turn? I'm not actually
It looks
sure.
like your support gets cut, so you don't yet. But then this support doesn't get cut eventually. So you do take it next turn, but not this turn. You'll get it in this year, though.
Yeah. I am actually making moves against the Ottomans now. This is actually pretty good because I get to force disband Canam Bornu. So that Ottoman, the main reason I'm attacking Ottomans in the first place is they just have way too many units in this region to make me feel comfortable working with them. So I don't want their centers as much as I want their units just the board here. So force disbanding that army is pretty huge for me, and it also helps I could take their dot off them too. So I'm pretty happy about that. Um, what else?
That's about it.
Abbey War is still going.
I guess we can pivot to my African colony because I noticed this, which is that. Wait, anything else up here?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Ottomans like fight Austria
It's
now or
more the
something.
same.
I don't know. But
I think that's a Sophie stab on Ottomans. Hold on.
Nope.
Is that Sophie?
Yeah, maybe.
Sophies do stab.
Oh yeah.
I finally got them stabbed.
They waited
That's
until
pretty huge for me.
they waited until they didn't have a fleet in Persian Gulf anymore, so that the Ottomans could just kick them right back out.
It's not the world's greatest stab, but I'll take what I can get.
The fact that it is a stab is a victory for you. Yeah. So Africa is interesting. Poland is like trying to propose peace deals to me, and I'm proposing peace deals to Poland here, but I don't think either of us buy it, as you can tell by the moves. Poland's one request is, hey, please don't tap Sierra Leone Rise, and I'm like, you know what I'm gonna do this turn? I'm gonna tap it.
Yeah.
It's the only thing I do. I'm like, oh yeah, yeah, definitely. And I tap it. I'm a good man like that.
As you do.
The Dutch are trying to move towards my dots, but this is not going to work. And it never will, but, funny, I guess. Elsewhere... it's 9 p.m. Oh my god. That's so late. I'm an old man. Elsewhere, India is just dying. Because there's, like, this alliance between Mughals and Ayutthaya, which I don't understand, because, like, what? Like, what are we getting out of this, guys?
It's something.
Yeah.
Yeah. As Ayutthaya, really, you need those fleets against Dutch, who you are in a active war with. I guess that's not
like they are
pressing.
they're actively stabbing Dutch, and yet they have this fleet here just to to make Mughals get more powerful. Like if I am Ayutthaya here, I'm like, sorry Mughals, but the Dutch are attacking me, and I really need to move this fleet back so I can do this. And that's good both because it means Mughals grow slower and hence have less ability to go in this direction, but also because you actually do need the fleet to attack the Dutch. That is not a lie. That is the
You
truth.
really do.
You actually need to have the fleet there. Also,
And
they
Mughals are so weak between you and Persia that if Ayutthaya attacked them here, it is just 3 dots.
Yes. Like Ayutthaya didn't even have to move the fleet this way. Ayutthaya could have just moved the fleet like there and moved this fleet here. And like
Yeah, like if
and
they
Ming, and if
wanted
they did,
Raja,
like, Ming would have
probably would have supported them in.
obviously, yeah, and Ming would have definitely supported that because I mean, yeah, I think you can see why.
Yeah.
Also, they dislodged this unit for some reason, which is like the worst thing you could do with it, I think.
Yep,
Because
that's not great. Why are
Yeah.
we doing that?
and because they still like this lands here, so then Ming has Hanoi and Fan Rang, and they can hold both of them because you just let their army.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just painful. That's your own fault too.
Yeah. Yeah, that's life for you.
Yep.
Elsewhere, what else happens for me? Europe, this goes about as I expect. You're gonna see something funny in fall, but the Dutch moved to Utrecht to grab it. I'm sure you Salt. We don't have to say it. Don't say what it is, but I'm willing to bet you can guess exactly what I do in fall.
Who knows?
You know exactly what I do with this unit, right?
Yep.
Yep.
I know where that's going.
Yes. France is dead to Austria, by the way. They only have 2 armies on the mainland for whatever reason. They just they just disbanded Utrecht, so they have 2 armies in Europe, and they're dead.
Oh my
So
God.
at this point, I'm talking to Austria, and Austria's like, yeah, you can have Nantes. So Austria's deal is that I get Nantes and I get Amsterdam, and those are the 2 dots I get on the mainland. Everything else goes to him, and I say yes because what else am I going to say? No, I'm going to say yes, and if I happen to end up with more than just those 2 dots, then I mean I have a lot of fleets, and he can't do anything about it. Also, I tried to get France to go to Iberian Current again here, and I filed some supports. Wait, did I get... Yeah. So this is really funny. I can tell by the moves. Portugal offered France support to do this. I offered France support to do this, and France supported Ghent to Southern Bight, which the Dutch didn't do.
Gosh.
Yes. And it becomes even more clear why I stabbed France and Portugal. I also, at this point, I have little better to do with my fleets in North Atlantic than to, do this and just harass the Portuguese and take their dots. So I start doing it, obviously. Right? Like, what else am I going to do? Not attack Portugal? No,
Yeah.
I'm going to attack Portugal. In the Caribbean, the French are like, they're doing this. It's just the backline raider thing, right? Where you're like, oh yeah, well you see, I'm going to go on here and I'm going to force you to cover all your dots, which is a viable strategy. I mean, I don't know why you would do it here. You could have disbanded that unit and then kept Utrecht on the board, and then been useful, but whatever. I'm not too torn up about that. And then in the New World, the Dutch and French clearly don't have a very aligned strategy here because what, right? Like I don't want to use words to describe the clusterfuck that this is.
But okay.
Like
The
why
Dutch
why
are
did
working with France?
why did the Dutch are not? Why did they retreat to New Amsterdam if they were going to do this and not even try to bounce me away from them? Like what?
There's no world in which France just lets you have this dot too.
Yeah, like I don't get
Oh
it.
my-
I don't get it. Like if you were going, if you were not going to work with France, which is understandable, France is hard to work with, you should have retreated to Philadelphia and accepted my offer of help to get Seneca.
I guess I don't know. France shouldn't be committing this many units against Dutch in the first place with the Pasca doing what they're doing. Like moving Ville Marie south with a board state like this is just suicidal.
Crazy. Yeah, there's no. I mean, I guess maybe France's expectation here was that like there'd be something like this, right, where that is forced with support from those two. But
France
like
is not
but
good enough player for that.
But if they do that, you do this. You just do this.
Yeah, and that would have worked too.
Yes, that would have worked. I mean, you would have lost Philadelphia. So I mean, the funny thing is, despite all the complaints we are filing about this, they made the right choice. Is what is really funny about this. I mean, I guess the right choice would have been to do this and this, but I would not do that moveset personally. So I don't. It's whatever.
Yeah, this moveset is. Oh my god! Anyone doesn't take Abinishwa? I guess no. If they did, they would retreat to Nescapi.
I mean, the problem is that
they could
you
cover
just
that though.
Yeah, you just. Yes, I agree. And I'm telling Inuit this, but I'm not pushing too hard because if Inuit wants,
is just allergic to
progress.
To 3 dots. Yeah.
I mean, if Inuit's gonna sit still and not take dots, I'm not gonna object. I mean, if Inuit doesn't want to have builds, I'm not gonna be like, Inuit, you need to have some builds, buddy. I'm gonna be like, oh my god, Inuit, you're so smart. Oh my god,
I will
all
object
your dots.
all day to Inuit not taking 3 dots that are right there. That's going to become really relevant next year.
I mean, they tried to take the one hardest dot on the board for them to take for so long. I guess they're just kind of traumatized by it,
It's right there. What do you mean? What's the worst thing that could happen? Why would you insist on Bradley with 5 English slates in the North Atlantic?
Yeah.
Sorry. We can go on.
Yes. What else did happen? Oh yeah, Spain is like fighting in the Caribbean. There's just no good solution here to these tactics, right? For me at least. Belize is just lost. It's whatever. Spain goes to Windward Passage, which I mean I see, but I also see it as not that much worse than like say I move to Cap Haitien and he goes here, then I still lose a dot, right? So I don't see it like it's tactically bad if I want to have a line, but in the current situation, I just don't see it as particularly bad outcome. Because I can
that's
cover.
A Polish stab on Spain, right?
Yeah.
They won't be in the picture for much longer.
Yeah, Poland is stabbing Spain. They land a fleet here, and Spain has nothing right here. I don't.
Yeah, that's a dead Spain.
I have no comprehension. That's the other reason I don't cover Windward Passage. It is suicidal to move your fleet there. What are you expecting? Are you expecting the Polish to just sit here and sing Kumbaya when they built 3 fleets for a 2-dot colony? No.
Yeah, maybe.
They're gonna
maybe should be like the Honduras fleet, like work with it and take Jamaica. I could see it. But
yeah, like if you're gonna do this.
That's not what happens.
Right, like you could.
You're staying up on Havana, but why? If you poured Barracoas and just build right next to it.
And just.
Yeah.
I mean, up here I kind of do a little weird tactical mishap where it's like I could have moved Jamestown there, which is what I have support for, but I basically decide that I think I should go to Maryland because I just want to guarantee that I kill the Dutch unit here because I'm feeling like the Dutch are approximately the worst partner to ever try to work with, so I want all their units dead, which is saying something given how badly France has been playing, right?
Yeah. I can start feeling your pain with France now. That convoy.
Yes. This game was painful to work with any colonial, except maybe Spain. But even then, like I don't comprehend what.
Well, no. Spain's. We haven't really been focusing on it at all. But Spain has just been making the most god awful tactics against India in the Med this entire game. Like there were turns where they could have. Like this is the first turn where they take Tunis. They could have taken Tunis for like the past year and a half now.
Like this?
Yeah.
This one they couldn't have. Not yet.
Yeah, they're clearly setting up for it, and they've had the position to like make progress in the Med for a while now, and they just haven't done anything.
Yeah.
And I think I had to tell Spain to do these specific tactics right here, because that's the only way they would actually do it. And yeah, because they were just going to support hold Sardinia instead. I convinced them to not do that and just take cap the support.
Even then, they still lose straight up Bonifacio.
Yeah, but like you can cover that from B1.2C in Salt.
You can cover like this and retreat here.
It's not the end of the world.
It's just fun.
Like you can deal with an Ottoman fleet in the back line. You have more fleets than they do.
Which is really
Yeah,
the only reason you have more fleets than they do is
they keep building armies. Tripoli sold an army every turn it can,
and
for no reason too.
Yes. So on that note,
Like, I'm just raging and so much. I didn't think I'd be this salty, but there's so much stuff in the game that makes no sense.
Yeah, it's like you're dealing with like the Ottomans, who's like, I'm going to invade Abyssinia, and he's like getting nothing out of it. I'm going to invade Abyssinia, and then like I'm dealing with like the Netherlands, who's like, I'm going to retreat to the English center, but then I'm going to fight France, and then the France, who's like, you know what,
Yeah.
I actually don't want to think about my tactics. I'll just enter random moves and then be all surprised when I get stabbed for not being particularly useful as an ally.
The worst thing is, I'm looking at the farmers, and I'm about to. The most like rage-worthy thing is about to happen. So.
Well, let's look at it. Hey, you get St. Helena.
You see that convoy though? Yep.
That is an Inuit army, just for record. Inuit army from Koryaks convoying through North Pacific, South Pacific, South Atlantic, Cape Coe.
France convoys Inuit across from the Pacific into their own dot that they cored. They cored Cape Coe only to move out of it and let someone else have it.
Also,
it's just
the
hey, most infuriating thing.
Before you mention that, note the direction they moved the fleet out of the way of the convoy.
Just standing the dot is like, who needs that? They clearly stabbed Portugal for Beira right here, but Pondo just doesn't need to be.
No, that would be too
I
much.
guess,
that would be too much.
Then Portugal might like get mad that they're losing dots, so why we ever
Abyssinia kicking Portugal out like this.
Yeah, that was just pretty good. Yeah, this is I am actually trying to work with France here a little bit. Like I saw the convoy, like yeah, France is probably stabbing me, but maybe I get like some kind of deal with them to where they won't stab me. So like if I think France is going after me here, which I do kind of, and I could have force disbanded the army in Beira, right? And that would have been a better move for me than what I made here.
For the record, if I see that convoy, I am always hitting it in the fall like this. I think.
Yeah, and that's what I should have done. But I made a deal with France to try to get their friendship, and like if you go to West Africa, I try to support them into the Ottoman line. That's think.
Yep, that's France for you right there.
Yeah.
What?
So I'm trying to buy France's friendship here, and they're not giving it to me. So, yeah, France does try to attack me here, but I end up bouncing it out, so it doesn't go anywhere. And yeah, they convoy Inuit into their own dot. So I talk with Inuit after I see these moves. I'm like, hey, how's your army here? And they just shrug. Anyone has no plan whatsoever. I'm trying to like ask them like what their plan is, why they convoyed here. So I'm like, okay, you could take Mapondo, free dot right there. I'm like, oh, I'll just ask Portugal if I can just take that dot from them. Okay, so that's a no. So I'm pitching like all these ideas, like we can go after France, or you could take the free dot from Portugal, and they're just like, hold on, let me just think about this. If you offer me something good, then I'll do that plan. I've offered them like 3 plans so far, and they just shrugged at every single one. So Inuit convoys here and just has no idea what they're planning with the student, or where it's going, or what they want to do with it. And they won't even take the free Portuguese dot right there, which is just so infuriating. I can't. This Inuit army is so annoying to
This
deal with.
Inuit player generally is just like, why? Are you doing
He is
this?
impossible. He makes it so impossible to work with him. Like if you pitch, I pitched so many plans, and he can't give me anything. There's just nothing to work with.
A constant stream of, well, maybe.
Yeah, this is a fall turn too, so while Benguela does look free, I can't just build here and like, and,
Yeah,
like
you can do
pencil in
this.
spring.
You can do this and this and like this if you really want to.
Yeah, so if France had done this in a spring turn, then that dot would be free, but he didn't, so it's not.
I love
I take
talking very
Helena
clear
back.
like that, but he didn't, so it's not.
Yeah.
Oh look, it's a Portuguese stab in the Netherlands.
Hey,
It would have been
guys.
so much more effective if they had 2 more units here, wouldn't it?
This is like alleviates the pressure off of these, like Dutch get like suicide their fleets into
Yeah, I mean
St. Helena for some reason.
they try for Cormorant in, but that's not happening.
Yeah. Yeah, and this thing's like south, like deal with this whole mess in South Africa that I've created.
Yes. Elsewhere.
Oh, it's so infuriating.
Well, I'm actually being a good client state here in Africa. I've accepted my role of this colony, which is I will be Congo's friend. And I'm
I
like,
do need a friend.
I think at this point I'm like
Poland.
offering you like supports into Mali and like and like Timbuktu, and everything else
Yeah,
I can
at this
think
point-
of to offer you.
At this point, my goal isn't to attack Poland, but to kind of do a sort of Cold War with them. I want to neuter their alliance with the Ottomans as much as possible to kind of weaken their position that way. Because the scary thing is less that they have this position in Western Africa, but that they also have this huge ally with the Ottomans, and that combined they can just crush me.
Mm-hmm.
So I want you to stay alive so they continue like waste their time on you. I want to use that time to make sure that when they do eventually get through you, that they no longer have the alliance to use against me.
Yeah. All right. So me, Africa, we've already been over. I do more conservative moves here. I could have taken Mali back if I wanted, actually. And maybe I should have tried for that. In retrospect, because if I go for Mali here like this, then the worst that happens is we trade out dots like this, basically. Oh wait, no.
Yeah.
Like this, basically. Sorry. But I'm kind of in a hunker down mindset here, and I think that my best bet for survival is going to be getting you in there, and then having you guys completely fighting. Because if I was able to get you to land in Mali, then you and Poland would be permanent enemies, and you would never be able to stab me.
Yeah.
Which is my goal. My goal is to get you sat right there in Mali, where you can't go anywhere forward, and you have to sit there and be reliant on me for the rest of the game.
I had to sit there and like support hold Molly forever.
Yeah, and you have
Molly is honestly such a cursed dot to have this game. It's so exposed in so many different directions.
But yeah, this is
very hard to get control over it.
Yeah, that's my vision for the colony, is to get you sat right there as a buffer for me to hide behind, which would have been great. Imagine if I'd gotten that, it would have been great. But you're not taking it. You can't yet, anyways. You're trying to get France to come over here, which is good because then that would have kicked the Ottomans. It would have disbanded this unit actually.
I want to kick these armies out of Western Africa.
But France, of course, defaults to his his typical strategy of sat there sucking his thumb and whatever. So
I don't want to do anything.
India is going about as well as expected, which is terribly. I'm just being a nuisance to Mughals now because I have nothing better to do with my units. Madras is guaranteed to fall. Ballari is not guaranteed to fall, but the only way he actually no, Ballari I can hold because I cut, and I just cut both of his supports. And actually, I guess if he had done this, it would have fallen. But he didn't, so it didn't. And I am cutting. The other reason I'm cutting Hyderabad is to help out Safavids, because I want the Safavids to get right into Mughals, Because if my Indian colony is going to have any chance of not being annihilated utterly off the map, it's going to be because Safavids comes in and he pulls me out of the abyss with his hand. You know, like I'm dangling over the ledge, and then the Safavids run up and they're like, "Don't worry, I got you." So that's kind of the only hope of this area right now. Otherwise, I'm just like covering my dots, because the Dutch, like what, like why didn't, right?
Yeah.
Like, you're actively fighting. Like why was you moved? But no, you moved to the. But you knew I was gonna do that, right? Like, there's nothing better for my fleet to do than to cover Ceylon.
They should have known. They should have known at least. This is just.
Yes.
This is something.
Yeah. Very creative moves is what we're getting. Creative. Yes. Anyways, that's Africa. That's India. Whatever. In Europe, France is now actually going for the Royal Rise attack, but it's too late. I'm ascendant in the Atlantic. There is nothing to be done.
That's a nice convoy.
Yeah, I decided to make use of Plymouth, and I convoyed all the way around to Anfa, because with an army in here, I can actually get at Portugal. I can cause problems. I can actually take Africa away from them, which I think they probably
That's really
did not
nice
expect.
too.
Yes.
Yeah, that army moved towards Chamba, went through too. Then that's to free America too. Yeah.
It didn't though. It's
Very nice.
Stuck.
Oh well.
But I still win.
agree,
I still get in here. I still really get in here really well and whatnot.
Yeah. You just have so many fleets that they can't do anything about it.
Yes. It's killer. Like if Spain had ever decided to turn on Portugal, for example, for taking Tangier, then and if Spain had just stopped doing all of this, then this would have gone very well for them, because they could have built a couple of armies here and just taken everything. But they didn't, so they didn't. The other thing I do is I decided over here as a result of this, that the Dutch were not a worthwhile partner for me to ever think about teaming up with. So I foresee that the Dutch will be self-bouncing Ghent and Utrecht, and I support Utrecht to Amsterdam to prevent them from having to build. And then after I do that, the other thing I do is I go to France and I say, "Hey France, I know we've been fighting or whatever, but as you can see, I saved you this dot. I clearly prefer working with you over the Dutch, so if you want to stop actively fighting everywhere, then I think we can just chill." And I also save him this dot, right? So he says yes, and the war with France is over. The other really funny thing is that because France has the fleet here, I just don't cover Bahamas or Bermuda, right? Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
Just mentally dominated.
Wow. I mean, yeah. If you pull that off, then you might as well.
Yeah. I found this was kind of the funniest move in a while, was just not covering them. Yeah, whatever, France. Yeah, take it. In the Caribbean, I just kind of hedge my bets. I'm like, okay, Havana is lost by force, because this can be cut. So I just cover Jamaica, Baracoa. I go to Bahamas Channel just to have some sort of bulwark here to prevent him from easily getting west. Poland obviously takes. And I keep. This is the point where I start trying to go to Guiana Current to pressure Poland, and the Dutch are just like, "Nope, you can't do that. Oh, you would threaten me. That would threaten me." And I'm constantly sitting here like, "No, I don't care about you. Like, I don't care. I literally can't take that center from you. It doesn't matter." But whatever.
You would think.
Everyone who's listening to this can tell that I'm mouthing about the Dutch. And if the Dutch are listening to this, she's probably sitting there like, "Oh my god, I made him so upset." But the goal of diplomacy is to win. The goal is not to make people upset. When you make people upset, you actually lose more often than you win, believe it or not.
Think about colonials too, is that if you have a bad few years early on, like Dutch and France have had here, then there really is no way for you to win anymore. But you're still so big to where you still have 20 plus just lying on the board, but no more potential to really win. you kind of have to like figure out what your goal for the game is in the first place. Once you're in that spot here, I think Dutch have made it like their goal for the game to like instead of winning because they can't win anymore. There's just no way for them to. I think their goal has been to just like cause you and maybe Portugal as many problems as they can. At least I don't know, that's kind of what my read on it is. Because really, if you are Dutch, you are just kind of waiting for the game to end at this point.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you've rebuffed offers to work together with me, then yeah. There's been no attempt to come back. So yeah.
It is what it is.
Some people just aren't cut out for it. Oh well.
Yep.
With that, I think that concludes this season.
Yeah, we can go to a winter, I think.
Yep, Safavids get a bit more knifing in.
Yeah, Sophids hopefully do better with the builds.
Yeah, maybe we can get through this game a bit faster now, honestly.
Yeah, I'll start speeding through it a little bit.
Yeah, so France disbands Sargasso Sea, which is the deal, basically. Is like, I saved your dots, please stop harassing me. And France is like, okay. And now that France has done that, you know exactly what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be moving like this, and I'm going to be taking Seneca and Philadelphia. I mean, what else are those units going to do, right?
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yep. I don't have disbands, unfortunately. I have, do I have build? I don't have builds either. I think I'm +0 here, which is annoying because I really don't have a use for this army. I retreated here, so I mean, you know, the use is to be annoying to Spain. Because Spain also, like, mildly, there was like some. No, this is fine. For now, it's fine. We'll see how it goes going forward. The Dutch disband Oneida, which is good because now I don't have to worry about them as much. They disband Ghent, which is good because now they can't defend Amsterdam. Which is amazing for me.
I think they disband St. Helena too. We can look there.
Not say.
No,
but,
they don't.
Well,
they
you have
this stuff.
You have St. Helena.
Yeah. They did retreat and disband in Africa though, which is nice for both of us.
The Mughals had a disband. So, you know, they disbanded the fleet. And by the way, I disbanded, I had one disband, I guess, so I disbanded this army here, because I don't have any use for it. And by the way, during this, I about stopped sending Preston Mughals around this time. The last thing I do is I try to convince them that they can't attack Delhi at all, because Safavids are going to support my move like this. So I'm telling them this whole time that no matter what he does, if he attacks Delhi, it's a losing move, he should find something else to do. Which is a lie, but it's funny. And if he believed it, it would have been really funny. Because his position would have collapsed if he believed me.
Yeah.
That's about
as for my end of things,
yes.
France not having built is really huge. I have you to thank for that, but because of that, I actually have a lot of leeway in how I want to deal with France here. It gives me a lot more time because if he did have an extra build here, he built a fleet in a stock of lava, and because right now in this position he's forced to support hold himself in a Beira every turn, or I just take that dot, right?
Yeah.
If he had that extra fleet build, and he could go to Comoros and actually start threatening my position, but because you're doing so much work elsewhere.
And Austria.
You'll never, yeah, and Athabasca, because he's just getting killed everywhere else. I can't just kind of sit here.
That build didn't happen.
Oh my god, he did have a build.
No, it didn't happen because he disbanded it. This was a map error.
Oh, right. But yeah, I have all the time in the world, get fleets over there before he can build an actual unit there to threaten me. So that's pretty nice. My builds are also pretty nice. I did manage to go +4 here. I think I am setting up at this point to stab Abby here. Obviously, yes. I'm not saying I am, but I mean, it's kind of the plan with this.
You moved an army to Burundi. That's kind of the figuring out stage.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I was just covering to make sure Azra couldn't take that dot. There's no other reason for that army to be there.
Yeah.
Oh,
So yeah.
kind of the plan. And Safi's built properly to stab
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Ottomans.
kind of.
Yep. Poland pops in their 2 units to Africa for some reason. We love to see it.
They have 4 dots and 1, 2, 3,
It's
4, 5, 6, 7, 8 units.
so much.
And
It's
yes,
too many.
the amount of units are sustaining the colony, but I think that you might have gotten slightly more effectiveness if you had had those units in Europe going this way.
If you stab Ottomans here, it's so big. I mean, you just don't have the use for it. And I just don't understand this level of investment into Western Africa.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
yeah, we can talk about that.
Spring.
This spring.
Guess we'll go to you. You get
Yeah,
French support,
so
but
at this
it doesn't
point,
matter.
I do stab Abby this turn. So I tell Ottomans to space that I will work for them for real this time. I've told them that for about the last 2 years now, so I don't think they believed it, which they didn't, but I wouldn't have believed it either, so I don't really blame them. Basically, my ideal here is I can take Timbuktu from the Ottomans, and then I kind of have that choke point against them forever, so they can never expand back into the West here. And I can kind of hold that line against them, and then work with them against
Abyssinia.
Abbey. Yeah,
Yeah.
and because that's where like most of my dots are going to need to come from to win. It's a way bigger breadbasket for me than the West is ever going to be. So that's my ideal here. They're not. I'm hoping that now that they've seen that I've stabbed, that they'll work with me. But also it's just a pretty brutal stab. Like me and Abby have been playing on moves, so I kind of knew what he was doing, and he told me that he was going to cover a Zonda here. I'm like, okay. He tells me to please not dot him for Darfur. I'm like, sure.
I would never do that.
I will not dot you. I would never take a dot. I would never make that move in a million years. So I take that, and I take
you didn't.
Euro too.
You didn't have glasses, okay? Let me just quickly. You didn't have. You did not have glasses, okay? I'll show you exactly what you had here. You had. Let's see. No, that doesn't look like. I'm trying to find exactly what you had. You had. No, that's not. There are a lot of options for what you had. Believe me. Here we go. You had a telescope.
Oh my god.
And it was pointed at Abyssinia.
Yep. I mean, this is a stat for 3 dots. I take Euro guaranteed because I knew they were doing these moves. I'm in Darfur, they can't kick me out, and then I take Azane too because they have nothing to report it. It's great.
Just gotta grab the selection so I can draw again. Yeah, you get Darfur, no contest. You get Euro, no contest. Actually, there is kind of a contest on Euro, but if he goes to take it back, you just do this supported by that.
I can just support hold. Yeah, it's not that big of a deal.
You can't support hold, but you just take a Zonde.
Yeah, I'm messaging Azeron too after the stab. Try and make sure. I've been kind of just blind Azeron since like year 2, but if I lie them a little bit longer, get them to tap one of these units and make sure they can't support anywhere, then I will.
Mm-hmm.
They're dead this year anyways, I think. And then I'll take Zanzibar from Portugal, and the south is really interesting this phase too. Actually, let's talk about that.
Oh yeah.
So here, you'll see that these are some pretty bad moves, right? These are not what you want to be doing. So what had happened was, I'm still trying to work with France here. I did offer some support into Timbuktu last turn in fall. So I'm like, okay, I've clearly shown that I want to work with you. You try to stab me, that's fine. We just let bygones be bygones. I clearly want to be friends. If you want to be friends, then let's just work together and see what happens. So, but as a condition to working together, I need your army in Beira gone. long as the army's there, we cannot be friends. So we work out an agreement to where France will convoy that army into Delagoa, and they'll go. They have those little southern three dots there, right? And I'll have my section. We'll all be happy with that. So France agrees to do that, and then I go to the army in Cape Coast. So so they have no plan so far.
Yeah.
I think I did get them to go to Mapondo, but then I switched it last second to get them to go to Delagoa instead. I'm like, okay. The ideal was if the France had done that convoy, then they would have bounced in Delagoa. Then I would have forced disbanded the army in a era.
And then you could have been really friends
And
because France wouldn't have been able to do anything to you. The best type of relationship.
Yeah, and you wouldn't have my dot either, and it would have been great. And France doesn't do the convoy, so I am really sad. And I actually go -1 instead of the +1 I could have gone. And like this is like the one way things could have gone wrong for me, and it happened.
There you go.
So
Diplomacy.
that really sucks. Yeah. That really sucks too. So I'm pretty sad about that in general. And of course, France immediately takes Cape Coast back after convoying the army there in the first place, because France has no cohesive plan whatsoever. They don't even use that basin to support this.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what France thought was going to happen here.
Well, France has been good friends with Spain, and so France is on a siesta.
Yeah.
Yep.
And yeah, I'm just trying to migrate to the South Atlantic too. There's so many fleets here that it's actually really hard to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like I need Cape Coast as soon as I possibly can to like start getting fleets out in the east, so I can like tap these French supports and get some pressure going in that direction, so I can like finally remove France here from good and get my armies going somewhere actually they can do something, because right now they're just guarding dots.
Mm-hmm.
They're just sitting there. As soon as I can pivot through South Atlantic into Cape Coast into Eastern Africa, I can do something there. But of course, Dutch don't move any of their fleets out. So yeah, that's just great. And then Mapuche is also contesting South Atlantic, so it's just a whole mess so far.
Yeah.
And that's gonna like delay me a lot too, because I need as many fleets there as possible to get to Cape Coast. And the longer I wait on that, the more turns France has to build up their defense. And the more years I wait, the more France will get killed in their other regions. And if those other regions fall too fast, then France is left with only Madagascar, which is actually really bad for me. Because if you see right now, they have 4 units on this little area here, and they're on 5 dots, going up to 6 with the Cape Coast. So they'll actually have less units here than they do have dots. So those other regions do fall, then they'll have builds in Madagascar.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to make sure that I kick them out of here before they get those builds from their other regions collapsing. And because South Atlantic is so hard for me to actually move through, that's going to take me even longer, and just those delays can really pile up on me if I'm not careful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really long-winded explanation to say this year's another mixed bag for me.
Well, it could be worse. You could be England. So I do get the support from Safavids, but Mughals tragically cuts Delhi. If Mughals had not cut Delhi, I would have been able to get a unit to the front line of Safavids, and I would have survived with an Indian colony. As is, I'm just kind of being annoying here. Not much to talk about in India, honestly. Yeah, it's dead colony. Colony.
So if you really want to be annoying, you can move to INO and attack Reunion. That could be fun.
Yeah, in retrospect, it might have been honestly a good idea to just jump my fleets out there and just go like, oh, yoink. And like go to Seychelles.
I've been trying to convince the Dutch to knight that dot for forever, but because Ayutai is attacking it, they just will never do it.
Yeah, but
So,
but you gotta understand, Ayutai attacking them is only a priority once she's given up on Ceylon.
of course.
Yes, of course. Elsewhere, I try to get Mali here. I try to do this time, but it doesn't work. But I do land in Sarajevo Rise, which is funny, because now I can be annoying. My attack on Portugal here continues apace. I'm breaking in at this point. Like, it is not a good day to be Portugal. I get a unit into Rabat. I get a fleet into Canary Basin again. I get a fleet into Sea of Azores. And they've given up the ability to retreat in North Atlantic and cause me any issues. So I'm just having a field day with this, and I'm funneling more fleets in. You know, like I'm going for it. And at this rate, I'll get what I want. In the Caribbean, I make some sort of peace deal with Spain. They pitched me some idea. It's weird, but this is a new player. Spain gets a sub. This is a new player from the old Spain, who is, I think, more competent at tactics. And the deal is that we are going to fight Ut and Poland together. So what's going to happen is Spain's going to move up here like this. You can see this is all agreed. I support into Tutelo. And then we're going to put Spain into Cherokee with support from these two units. Spain has Apache back, which will get taken if Ut wants it, but it's fine. Ut convoyed to Hawaii for some reason. I would never do this if I was Ut or Germany. I mean, come on, right? But whatever.
Yeah, that's something.
And the idea that Spain pitches to me is they will convoy the army to Havana, and then we will put it down here, which is kind of dubious. It's kind of dubious, but I'm kind of an optimist, and I think that what Spain should recognize is that Poland will murder them if Poland has the chance to. And so we should not let that happen. We should fight Poland together. Also,
honestly, Poland only really gets Panama from this, right? They can't really go anywhere else against Spain with just fleets.
With just fleets, but in time.
I mean,
look what they did here.
fair enough, honestly.
My pitch to Spain is basically like, we can be long-term allies. There's no downside to us being long-term allies here. We get to fight the same people, Poland and Ut. Spain gets more out of fighting Ut than me by a lot, and I get more out of fighting Poland by, actually I don't. This is the agreement, is we're going to split it here, so we get the same out of fighting Poland, I guess. And then we also get to coordinate against Portugal. We can split it down. I think the agreement was like this or something, or like this, I think, which I think works.
Yeah, I mean,
because Spain literally can't
really ask for more.
Yeah, Spain literally can't get any more. And Spain, if Spain wants to convoy the army down here, it's weird. I guess this should have been the right flag, that they convoyed it like this, because, right?
Yeah, you have the fleet in Gulf of Mexico, so any army around that would work. And if you're not trying to fight Ute, then it shouldn't be much of a difference either way. Why is that Ute army moving back to Nueva?
I have no idea. This all confuses me a lot.
I guess they made peace, but why?
It confuses me a lot.
Like, Ute was they were genuinely competing for a spot in the winners to win here.
Yeah.
And I think slowing down their tempo like they're doing this turn is actually what's going to cost them the win here, because they're moving back from Athabasca too. You're only really making progress against France here. That's only 1 or 2 dots more.
Yeah, they had a real shot to just crush Spain here.
Yeah, you gotta take it too.
Yeah, you have to do it.
Yeah.
Do it, but they didn't. So I'm optimistic about this whole Spain thing, because I just figure that at this point in the game, it's important to have some sort of ally. Spain's a good ally for me because I didn't actually want really to fight them anyways. You don't get much out of it at this point in the game, right?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the Dutch are still steadfastly opposed to me attacking Poland on the grounds of, no, you can't do that. But their supports are all being cut.
I tapped their support, though.
Yep.
You're welcome.
Many thanks.
I tapped the right one.
Yep.
Totally planned that one out.
Planned. It's always been an anti-Dutch conspiracy. Always been an anti-Dutch conspiracy.
Yep.
Just like she suspected. And that's about it. This is so... As like from like here, for example, with this whole India crap with Mughal, actually not from here, from this moveset with Mughals like stabbing me, idiotically and killing themselves for it basically because that. I'm like going up and down and like it, the it's so over we're so back train. Let's see which slide are we on? This one. And so this turn is like I'm feeling pretty good about the game. But as time goes on, my interest in this game is just rapidly declining because of how annoying and how annoyed I am at dealing with all of my neighbors. With Portugal being a democracy and unreliable the whole game, with France being France, with the Dutch being the Dutch, and Spain and Poland, we'll see.
It was honestly pretty nice to talk to, but their tactics have just been awful the entire game.
Yeah, the old Spain I could work with because I could just do whatever I wanted. But this new Spain had specifically said in a different game that they would never trust me and that I was a snake, and I was hoping that was rhetoric, because typically you don't want to come into a game with someone you never played with before and just kill them for their name, but we'll see. Anyways, next phase. This is spring, right? Yes. So we go to fall.
Yes.
So I guess we can start with you.
So on a macro level here, I want to note that Qing is just exploding this game. With my successful stab on Abby, I am pretty confident. I'm very confident I can make it to the winner circle here. So there are only two ways I can lose from the position that I'm in right now, and that's if I get something like severely wrong and just let all my neighbors kill me somehow, or if Qing gets a solo. So the only two ways that I can lose at this point, because Qing is just taking everything. Their neighbors have done pretty much nothing to stop them at this point. Like Russia just got killed immediately by all their neighbors,
including Mughals for some reason, and Ming.
Yeah. Inuits, I don't remember what the deal with Japan, but like even Ute was attacking Japan, so they're gone. Inuits are just more tactically all around, so of course they're dying. Ming is getting sandwiched between Qing and Ayutthaya here, and Safavids are the only real threat to Qing, but they're so far to the east or the west, and they're attacking Mughals, so they're kind of they don't really have that defensive line set up just yet. So Qing is going to take a bit of territory off them before, like they're moving to defend it now, but Qing is going to take some territory before they can set up that line.
Yes.
Yeah, that's kind of a worry. I don't actually have any press with Qing, but I am very worried about Qing just like running away with the game at this point and kicking me out of the win because of that. This game is played with a new 35% margin over the 25% margin, so I have a lot more room than I normally would, like kind of make sure Qing can't solo. It's not just on me because Poland is also pretty close.
Yeah.
That's kind of like on a wider level. That's what's going on here.
Yes.
And that's relevant now because this is when me and Poland decide to stab you.
Yes. Well, I saw this coming. I knew I had a pretty good idea here that you were going to stab me.
Yeah, so earlier I didn't stab you earlier because I was worried that if I worked with Poland, or if I like killed your colony here, then Poland and the Ottomans would work together, use all their armies to stab me, and then I would just not have a great time. I'm less confident that'll happen because of two reasons. Ottomans are kind of just not great as a power right now. He's kind of in a depth where with Abby it's very back and forth. And now that I've stabbed Abby, I'm hopeful that he'll want to work with me because he kind of needs me as an ally to win that war. And I'm starting to like really talk with Poland. Before now, we haven't had that much comms, but now we're starting to like really talk, and we both recognize the threat of a Qing solo run kind of ending our game.
Yeah.
But we both recognize that a stab between the two of us on the other one would kind of just mean that Qing would get that solo, and that neither of us would get that win. So I'm confident that Poland won't stab me if I do this. That's why I'm taking your dots here. Unfortunately, you do see it coming with Cormanton, so I don't actually have any backline armies to prevent a thoughtful retreat from messing with my backline here.
Yeah,
so
what happens
if
here
you
is
do retreat to not,
you land there, I retreat here. You have no way of stopping me from going
Yeah.
here. And
I have nothing there.
At the same time, what happened is Niani is set still, but I can retreat this fleet from Sarah Leora Rise anywhere I want. Like either here, or I can go here. No, Settle Lennox filled. I can go there, or I can go there. It's my choice.
Yeah, the hope was that you just do the same things you've been doing in support hold all of this. Yeah, me and Poland kind of made a split of these dots, and I'm hoping I get Timbuktu again as I stabbed Abby last turn. I go to Autumn and say, "Hey, look, I'm your friend now," and no, they're not really buying it. So that's
I
still
saw
no Timbuktu for me.
I saw the unit in Aha, and I was like, yeah, Salt probably wants to take my dots.
Yeah, I probably could have hit that one a little bit better, but oh well.
Well, there was not really. I mean, I guess you could have gone like there, but then you would have lost Agadez. So
Yeah.
tough.
Abby is moving to cover their dots for some reason. Not sure why they would want to do that.
Yeah, truly.
I do actually vassal Portugal here, so I'm talking about Portugal and Azeron. I get them to mess with the units in like Mogadishu and Baidoa. They actually do it, which is really funny to me. I'm not sure why Portugal tries to tap that Abbey unit, but I will take it. That's pretty nice.
Yeah.
And then we just have the tactics around the south, which is just, I'm not confident moving into the South Atlantic Ocean, so I'm trying to move into all the. I tried to take Co this turn, I think. Yeah.
Yeah,
it didn't work.
Fail.
Yeah. On the plus side, Mapondo is finally gone. I don't need it taken. I don't need it taken anymore, but it's gone regardless. And yeah, France and Inuit are clearly working together now. Like Inuit supporting the men, so this is a pretty clear alliance against me, and there's not a lot I can really do about it either.
Well, if you hadn't stabbed me, I might have been willing to retreat this fleet into the Indian Ocean and cause some problems. But
I think you'd be willing to take a free reunion from France, regardless if I had or not.
Except he has a brain, which maybe he doesn't.
No, he doesn't. He's just there were so many turns where Crowset Basin is held, but it could have done anything at all useful. He will never cover reunion in a million years. There is no world in which France sees that dot coming.
France does not have a telescope.
No.
Okay.
I'm sorry. These French tactics just are so bad. I've been offering France peace every single phase, as long as he takes the army off, and he keeps saying yes, and then not doing it. So
a man after your own heart.
I'm just kind of done with the France at this point.
Yes. Much like me being done with the Dutch and the French. Oh yeah, remember that deal I told you about that I had with Austria, where I was going to get Nantes and Amsterdam, and he was going to get Utrecht and Ghent? Well, he was a great ally and supported me into Nantes, just as agreed. And I told him that I was going to support him.
He's trying for Utrecht, though.
I told him I was going to support him into Utrecht, and then I didn't.
Oh, Well,
Yep.
he'll be fine with
I'm
his
sure he'll
level one.
forgive. He'll forgive this. There's nothing wrong with
Yeah,
doing this to him. I just really need that dot.
he'll understand.
Also, I ignore
Must be a
Russia.
really expensive for the
I,
med, anyways.
I pretty much
Oh, that sucks.
I do see this coming, but I'm basically like, I don't care. Like, sure, buddy, you can
Yeah,
come in and take a dot. I'll eventually deal with it. It's not worth my time to deal with right now because until Trondheim is taken, there's no point in like bouncing it or anything because he can't build. So, like, whatever.
yeah.
My conclusion to that is basically that I don't care.
Yeah, that's fair. At this point, like, so many people have messed with you for so little reason that what's another Russian fleet doing the same thing? God.
What a tactical genius that move signifies.
Yeah, I listen. I probably should have planned out tactics and thought a little bit here, but I can't do all everyone's tactics for them here. I already had to basically do some of Spain's tactics for them in the med to try to curb
This
Ottomans, but
it didn't
yeah,
work.
this Qing is just a monster at
Spain
this
handed
point.
back
Oh my
Tunis.
god. Yeah, no, I'm just done. I'm focusing on my little on my bubble, and that's it.
Yeah.
You know,
Also, so I
it'll
guess
look no further.
back to my area. Yeah, Spain just stabs me for Baracoa, which sure. I mean, so Spain does stab me, and I can see why they did it. Right? It's like, oh, I can get dots.
You don't take Jamaica. Oh, okay.
Yeah, they wanted to secure Bahamas Channel for Bahamas, but like, they can just do that anyways.
Yeah,
They take Jamestown, which is annoying, but I can just like, I can pull an army this way anyways, right?
yeah.
It's annoying, and it means that I don't have anyone to work with against Poland for the rest of the game. And this is kind of the point where I'm really like, this game's just not worth it. But, you know, maybe I can work out a deal with Poland instead to go kill Spain. Maybe that's workable. And maybe I can work out a deal with Poland to go fight you and just be a little, like, Janissary here. And that might be workable.
You wouldn't want to fight me. That's crazy.
No.
What have I ever done to you since I stab you this turn?
Exactly. So, yeah. Yeah, Spain, I mean, they do this, which is going to cost me the dot now, but I can just retreat and come back later for it. So, you know.
Yeah. Overwhelming force.
Yeah, the overwhelming force helps. Yeah, and this is a point where I'm like just done working with Spain, because they've double stabbed me, and when you double stab someone, well, you know, I guess when he said he thought I was a lying rat, that's what his actual opinion was. So I'm gonna let him enjoy that opinion, and I'm gonna act on it.
See where it gets them.
Yes. Okay, so on that note, builds. I have a build.
Sure.
I put one here because I decided, after all, that Russia's annoying. And having a fleet there would be good to make sure that I can eventually deal with that.
Mm-hmm.
I have control over Sweden.
Had an extra build had you disbanded not in Africa.
Yeah, but
You know.
C dot.
Why would you want to why would you want to do that? I don't really get it.
Well, you see, because in this position I've got some... Basically, I go to Poland, and my pitch is that I will just move out of Niani to Mandan with support from his fleet here, and he can do this, and that we can basically just go wipe you off the map immediately, which absolutely works, obviously.
Yeah, I have like 2 armies, or 1 because I'm forcing
and I'm doing this too
every phase. Yeah.
Yeah, so like it absolutely would work. But the key is that if Poland is not interested in the proposal, Poland can just say no and take the dot, and it makes no difference to him, right? That's the key here. Is I'm like, okay, well, if he's saying yes, then he's just going to do it, because there's no reason that you would go up and you would there's no reason you would say yes and then not do this. All you're doing is pissing me off. You're not gaining anything by it. So that's my calculus there. I'm like, okay, I get maybe Poland's workable. We can set up a border here, and then I'll help him go this way with my armies being kind of Janissaries and Chaos Creators. Elsewhere, I do have quite a few builds. So Bermuda gets a build, St. John's gets a build because I want a convoy again. And Antigua gets a build because, yeah. The Dutch.
Yeah.
The Dutch.
Sense.
Yeah. I put one in Bahamas as well because I want to kind of make it as painful as possible to push against me. I had disbanded my retreat from Baracoa, which could have gone to Jamaica. But there wasn't really a point, in my opinion, to keeping that fleet around. Yeah, I didn't see it, so I didn't keep it.
Yeah, I am a little...
Yeah, for you?
Because you had a lot of builds, right? But you keep knots, but you don't build Cormanton. I'm a little...
Well, because this can get a dot, but if I build Cormanton, then what will happen if I build Cormanton? Then to hold on to that, I will need to keep this army here, because otherwise you just walk in with support, or...
Yeah, makes it pretty dicey for me if you do build there, because then I have to spend Busa on supporting Ouagadougou, and then I lose Agadez because I can't have the support from Timbuktu.
Well, things get dicey for you, but I don't actually gain anything from it, because you get the time to move the fleet up here and cover Great Archer.
Yeah.
So my calculus is basically like, I could be really annoying to you, but there's not really a reason for me to do that.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's not like you've broken any great agreement with me. I saw the stab coming for a reason.
Yeah, I mean, T-Dot.
Take dot.
As for me, I just build 4 armies. I think fleets generally are better in this position. Like, South Atlantic is just so clogged that even if I did build fleets, there's no... I can't make sure I would actually get to use them and get them out in time. So I want to make sure that, like, my backlog is cleared.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, I think a army... The thought here is, like, army in Advanza has to go up to Luanga, like, secure my backline here. And then Soyo can be convoyed in to kind of secure it from the other direction. That also discourages the Polish stab on me. Like, I trust Poland enough to not stab me to stab you, but I don't trust them enough that I'm just going to leave this region completely, like, alone.
Yes.
So that's kind of the thought process behind that. And then the other 2 arms are because I have to, because I want to militarize against be a little bit more. Yeah, I mean, there's not too much to read into my builds here.
Yeah. Pretty much same. So then, anything else going on? Oh yeah, Austria. I managed to talk Austria down from fighting me over Utrecht here. With a combination of, if you attack me, Poland will murder you, and also, if you attack me, I will sit fleets off the coastline and you will not get any dots ever anyways. And that combination is somehow effective, so I just get to keep Utrecht. It's mine, as we can see in Spring
Austria
Moves.
does have a fleet problem.
Yes.
As they say.
Well, as you'll see, I got Austria to stab Poland and not fight me.
Works every time.
Yep.
Want to do your moves first, or do you want to do mine?
Let's see yours. I just wanted to mention the whole Austria thing.
Yeah, so at this point, I'm not a happy camper with France here in South Africa. So I want to prioritize Delagoa here. My thought process here is that if I take that dot, then surely anyone will just take that unit off the board, because it's just an army without a dot in a random region that anyone shouldn't care about. So I want to prioritize taking that one off, but I don't want to give up the position in Mutapa. I figured France would just support hold Beira again, which they don't. So I could have disbanded that army this turn, and of course I missed the opportunity. So, yay. I get that guess wrong. So it's just a big turn where nothing happens, and then my fleets get bounced because that move didn't go through, so I can't set up on Cape Co as much. Yeah, and like I really need to take Cape Co here. As soon as I take Cape Co, I could start pressuring these French fleets in
like this.
the east here and get stuff going that way. And So I need as many units on Keiko as I can get. In this particular setup, I'll have, I think,
1,
four.
2, 3, 4 fleets plus
Four.
that army.
Yeah, which is just barely not enough, I think.
Well, they have 1, 2,
It's
3,
three.
4.
Yeah, huh.
Oh, well,
I,
the
I
only
know I
problem is
don't take Keiko in fall.
well, the problem is the Dutch.
Oh, yeah, no, that doesn't get through, I
And they're
think.
well, no, this gets through. It's just
Yeah.
they cut fleets because they're the Dutch.
No, it doesn't. I don't think it does get through
How
because
does it not?
Portugal's support held.
No, he didn't.
It doesn't move to. Oh yeah, no, you're right. Okay.
It gets through.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what happens in fall then.
We'll see.
I should have picked go in fall, but
Yeah,
yeah. Anyways,
Abyssinia goes
I'm
well.
still making moves against Abbey here. I proposed like a vassal deal to them too, but they didn't take it for obvious reasons. You know, if they did, I would have just kept going. So can't pull the same trick every time. But I am working with Safavids against Abbey now. So you see their fleet moves into
Oh,
Somali
yes.
Basin.
I have no idea why
Yeah,
Safavids
so that's
would ever
purely
do this.
against. So basically, the plan here is, well, I need to weaken Abbey here, and I need to do that through fleets. Ideally, I would have fleets in the east that could go up this way. Because Cape Co has been so delayed, I have no progress over there at all. So I have no fleets in that region. So I need somebody with fleets to work with me here, and the only person that has those fleets is Safavids. We already have a pretty good Robert going because I've gotten them stab Ottomans, and that's gone pretty well for them so far. I'm promising them support into Marig, or yeah, Marig, I think.
Yeah, probably.
So yeah, from Bunyoro. Yeah, so I promised them support there, and like some of the dots from Abbey here. Like it's pretty free, right? As long as Bunyoro doesn't get tapped, which it probably does, but
Oh well.
I think take Hobio too. I just need like some pressure from the coast, really. And like if they do get dots here, those builds go to fighting Ching. So it's pretty much a win-win for me, regardless here.
Mhm.
I can always like dot Softies later, like if I need to make that final dash towards the win. So I'm pretty happy with doing this.
I just don't know why Safavids would do
And
this, because what Safavids could have done is they could have done this, or they could have done
I think
this,
he's making
or
peace
like
with
this.
Mughals to fight Ching.
Well,
Ching is just such a monster right now.
well, it certainly doesn't look like it based on this move.
It looks like Sofi's trying to make peace with the Mughals, and Mughals don't take it. But Sophie's is just like pulling everything to fight Ching right now.
Understandably.
He's exactly what I
'Cause
want to see. He doesn't trust Poland either, for obvious reasons.
trusting Poland is a fool's errand, as I find out, I guess, because your moves are all explained.
Yeah.
So Poland, like I said, when I offer this deal, literally Poland loses nothing by just saying no. So when they say yes, I assume that we're chilling. And then I go to the Caribbean, and they forced Aves Rich.
Yeah.
So I know that they're not. At this point, I mute the press channel I have with them, because I'm like, okay, pressing with Poland's useless, right? They're just going to fight me forever. I just mute their press channel. Let me see. I don't know exactly. I think that was like for like 3 weeks before the game ended. I just had their press channel muted because I didn't see any value in it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I muted the press channel 3 weeks before the game ended. I was just like, okay, whatever. You double stab. At this point, there's nothing. I do force Guyana Current from Dutch, and then I tell the Dutch, hey, you should retreat to Broco Pondo, because if you don't, you will lose Parmurbo, and I'm here purely for anti-Poland. I'm attacking Barbados, so basically my pitch is like, there is a 100% chance that a fleet here is going to go this way. There is not a 100% chance that my fleet here is going to go this way, which I think is fair, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I guess they don't do it because Cayenne.
Funnily enough, they did, but that's a future turn. So yeah, elsewhere, yeah, Spain keeps on fighting me. I do all these bounces. which is some, I don't know, this is tactical bullshit, basically. Bouncing him out of foreign current costs me getting in St. Augustine, but it maintains my position in the Bahamas for another year, so it's fine enough.
Yeah.
I do this whole self-bounce with Athabasca, because there's like they kind of could try to attack me, but they're not getting help from Shoshone for some reason, so whatever. And I go for this convoy, but it doesn't land because Galicia went to Navarre instead of Madrid.
That's a shame.
If that convoy had landed, it would have been amazing for me.
Yeah, the Galicia convoy is great. Just kill Spain or Portugal in this case.
Yeah. Also, I got Austria to move against Poland, but I didn't think Austria would, so I had my units like holding themselves here instead of bouncing Poland out of Munster, which slowed down progress a bit.
Yeah, but they can't take anything off you, so it's fine.
Oh yeah, it just slows down like Austria's progress, but whatever.
Yeah, it's fine.
Austria, Schmaustria.
Yeah, who cares, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anything else? Space?
I'm losing Ceylon this year probably, but maybe not. I'm just kind of sitting there.
Yeah,
okay,
good.
fall.
Good reunion though, you know.
Nah.
Guaranteed dot.
Okay, so your move is pretty simple, it seems.
I want to see why I didn't get Keiko this turn. I think I do get Keiko. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on. Have I just missed from remembering the order of this? I think. I like tried for like years to get Keiko. I didn't. It didn't like work. I just have like weeks in like real lifetime, so I guess like this was only like 2 years in game time, so a lot shorter than I was remembering. So, but yeah, looks like it works. So that's pretty nice, I guess. Yeah. Anyway, is still like the ideal here would be to convoy into Cape Go, but I don't have a fleet in Angola Basin to do that, so. Or really though, yeah. If I had a fleet in Angola Basin, I could convoy to Cape Co, and that would make my position even better.
Yeah,
but like I'll take this too because the fleet there is pretty useful as well as I can like support myself to Crozet Basin maybe.
Maybe.
And that's yeah. So like it works either way for me. So we take it, right? Socrates tapping Marigue is pretty huge as well. Because then I don't have to support hold but a euro in this case. I'm able to support up into Baidoa. So I'm pretty confident in that. So I think this works. No, it doesn't.
No,
this doesn't work.
Yeah.
Like I don't need it to work. I just need that support tap. So this works regardless for me. And then Abyssinia is pulling a few armies back to deal with the Ottomans, so that's also pretty fine by me. I think I get Timbuktu this phase.
Let's see. Sorry. Oh, you do, yeah, because
Ottomans Inamar. Yeah, I got Timbuktu from an Inamar, but we take it.
It feels like an appropriate conclusion to the Ottomans.
Yeah, I think I was trying to get Poland to support me into that for so long, and they just wouldn't do it. They're still working with the Ottomans, but like I don't know. I don't like getting Timbuktu this way, but at this point, I will take what I can get.
And you
I
can
think
get
Ottomans
Timbuktu.
for this.
Yeah, Ottomans do get replaced at this point. And yeah, look at that. Austria's fighting Poland. Thank God.
Yeah, Poland does need some kind of pressure applied to them, but I'm not gonna be the one to do it.
So for me, it's pretty much just tactical is what this game is now, because I tried making allies, and I'm pretty much done with that at this point. I just don't see a point to it, right? I think I tried...
Yeah.
Do I try to work with Spain again here? Maybe. I think I put Spain in Tangier because Portugal is like annoying in some fashion. But as you can tell by my moves, I'm not that into fighting against... Oh yeah, no. Sorry. No, what happens here is Spain and I do come to another agreement, wherein we agree that we'll do this, supported by me, with these units to fight Poland, and that he agrees to put me into Cherokee, but doesn't. And he just breaks the agreement immediately. So I also mute the Spanish press at this point, because double stab, right?
That's fun. Yeah, I mean, fair enough, honestly, at this point. Why? You need to be rushing for dots to get to the win right now. If you don't take every single dot you can, you will not win. Delaying is only gonna make it harder for you to get into the final, like, winners,
Yeah, so for some reason, Uchishone, I was talking to Uchishone, also trying to get him to attack Spain, and he basically was like, oh yeah, well, Spain can't resist me anyways, so I'm going to back off and let him exist for a little bit. Which is about the worst logic I've ever heard. Because Spain isn't a buffer state.
You need as many dots as possible, or you will not win.
There is a difference. If you want a buffer state, you need to have a buffer against something. Sweden, buffer state against Poland, right? Very specific purpose. What purpose is Spain serving for you right now? What are they doing that you could not do yourself? Are they fighting me? Like, what's...
If you only attack people that can, like, properly fight you, you're gonna have a really hard time growing. Ideally, you want to attack people that can't fight you. That's how you grow. You don't want hard fights. You want fights against people who can barely do anything.
You want to hold. You want to take this. You want to take this. Right, and then you want to either take this.
Saltillo while backing off of Spain elsewhere.
I don't know.
Oh God, this. Oh.
Spain claimed that the reason that he stabbed me, by the way, was because I was trying to get Oud to fight him. Which, I don't know. my brain doesn't comprehend that.
You could have won this game. I mean, spoilers, but they don't. And parts like this one and last one are why, really.
Yep. That pretty much sums it up. Let's see what else happens here. I go to Bay of Biscay on Austrian request to make it so I can support like this move basically. Which I'm willing to do because I am annoyed with whatever. I do it at this point because
Iberians both have annoyed you.
Yes, I do it now because I just want to say yes to Austria so that Austria moves the units away from my centers. But after this term, I'm just genuinely done with Iberians. I do try to work with Portugal again down the line, but it fails again. So spoilers. But we're getting close. 1648.
Yeah, we got 2 more years left, I think.
Yes. Anything else significant here? I don't think so. Somehow Ayutthaya and the Dutch are still stalemated.
Reunion here, but what do I know?
No, the moment it leaves, it gets taken by the Portuguese.
Yeah, but isn't reunion just a better dot to be in?
Also, the Mughals just don't.
Yeah, that's something.
What?
Why are you supporting Mughals? I hate you. No, this is so... Why?
The Mughals...
Oh god, I hate it.
Some people in...
He does not need more dots.
Some people in the game of diplomacy seek a coherent foreign policy. Other people support the enemies of their allies while still keeping them in dots that they don't need to keep, while their allies are losing wars to colonials who should have been dead 1,000 years ago. Colonials,
the last thing she needs here is more dots.
Colonials, I might mention, who are following explicit Qing orders. There's no we'll see. We'll see how this works out for everybody. Onwards to fall.
Yeah, at least Sophie's is holding the line.
Or builds, winter builds. I don't actually. I have a build. I would have had more, but Russia is just doing this for some reason. So, whatever.
So the Ottoman disbands I actually want to talk about real quick. They had a sub, right? So I have pretty much everything I want. I only wanted the 2,000 Western Africa, Timbuktu and Agadez off of the Turks. So, yeah, but I have those two. I don't really want anything further off of them. So I try to make a deal with the sub to like disband the army in Ugar, and then we can be friends. I'll help them against the heavy here, and we'd all sing Kumbaya and be friends. So Ottomans had, I think, 5 disbands, not even 4. It's four disbands, and
Yeah.
they don't disband Ogre. So I'm like, okay, Ottomans are going to try to fight me now. And upon seeing this, I go to Poland and say, hey, Ottomans they're offering me, like, they want me to attack you, they want it. So I'm
Yep.
just making up this war against Ottomans in the Poles now. And
Hmm.
Poland, like, believes me, because Ottomans have a sub. That actually works pretty well for me.
Yeah.
I see, like, them keeping the army there, and I'm worried that they're gonna offer like some deal to Poland to like support them into Timbuktu. So I try to like stop that before it can happen. Um, Going back into the Ottoman player's void and like their messages to me, this was not intended as an attack on me. His reasoning to me was that if he keeps the army around, I can't take Tripoli, but if he keeps Tunis, right, then the same logic applies and it doesn't mess with me.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so this just, yeah, it really annoys me that he kept this unit around despite me explicitly asking him to, like, the only condition for friendship between us was if he took that unit off the board, and yeah, so I'm pretty annoyed with this Ottoman build, or
Hmm.
not build, but yeah. And then I think I only go +2 here.
Oh yeah. Let's see. Sorry.
Um,
+3.
okay, yeah. So not the, I'm still going along, right? Abby has a build too, and Mogadishu, which isn't great, especially because the Ottomans aren't really pressing them anymore. But yeah, it's kind of hard for me to take anything more off of them. I only got those 3 dots off of them, but those 3 dots were still pretty valuable position wise because I do just have a pretty good line against them now. So I still think that the stab was worth it,
Hmm.
even if these 3 dots are the only ones that I end up taking. Um, yeah, that's kind of it for me. And then France can't build still because the clock on that has not run out just yet.
Yes. I get a build through disband, so I build in Antigua because I am firmly anti-Polish at this point, and this is the most anti-Polish build I can make, so I will make it. Also in retreats, I got forced out of Ghana Current, so I retreated to Cayenne. I basically go to Netherlands, and I'm like, if I do not retreat to Cayenne, Poland will just take it, so I'm going to do that. And then she accused me of being
She
opportunistic
was
and
happy.
selfish, and I was like, I don't care, I'm doing it. Like,
Yeah.
you cannot, there's nothing you can say to stop
Yeah.
it.
C-dot.
The funny thing is, most of my reasoning was actually anti-Polish. So,
Yeah, I mean, Poland is just kind of a monster at this point too.
Yeah, I mean, like, why?
This amount of investment into West Africa is actually insane. Like in any other game, you would have gotten attacked in a
You would have gotten crushed.
Europe for this. Yeah, this should not work, but it is.
And on that note, forward we go. Because we're almost at the end.
Yeah, we probably speed through these last.
Yeah, so it's just tactics now. Anti-Polish tactics. Sweden, so the upside of me having spent the entire game not attacking Sweden and propping them up is that Sweden is now feeling rather friendly to me. So Sweden goes to Poland and says, hey, Poland, I'll convoy your army in Christiania into Oxford. And then Sweden doesn't do that. Sweden goes to York for anti-Russian purposes.
That's always good.
Yes. Good ally. Let's see. This is where Portugal says that they're going to be my ally, so I help them into Rabat, and they pay me back by helping Spain into Tangier. So it just goes to show working with these democracies is worthless. They are worthless. Caribbean.
Yeah.
Let's see. The Caribbean is just a bunch of bullshit tactics. It's very complicated. I gave up St. Domingo because I couldn't hold it anyways. Or I could have, but it wasn't worth holding because it would allow Poland to get into my backlines here. So it's just not worth it. And I'm setting up... I think I actually get to hold Bahamas this year because I take this, right? which is kind of funny, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had no business holding Bahamas, but Spanish tactics were, being as they are, they allow it.
Yep.
And that's about it. I'm supporting myself in here because I don't want France there anymore. But France actually walks into an Inuit dot, which I think was agreed to, but whatever. I see it. I see
they're
it's
just doing their own thing.
yeah.
France and Annie, it's so weird. It's like those moves look like they're at war with each other in North America, and then South Africa is all like kumbaya against me. So
Yeah.
you
So,
know,
okay.
whatever.
Mm.
We can go on with your moves if you're still
Yeah.
more.
My moves are pretty much done. It's just tactics. There is not much to talk about here. It is just tactics like this. Fernando Poe dies. This is you outguess me here, but I'm not. I am admittedly not trying very hard.
Yeah. At this point, Ching goes to me and asks me like how realistically I can get my last 7 DAWs in 2 years. We are trying to end the game as fast as possible. I tell him, oh yeah, it'll be super easy. Don't even worry about it, because I don't want them to try for the solo run.
Mhm.
Realistically, I think I can make it, though it's gonna be difficult.
Yeah.
Mostly because just the South has been. I have made so many wrong guesses in the South here. I really should have had this entire area like conquered by now, but I've just repeatedly been delayed and guessed wrong. That it's led to this kind of situation to where I just had this line against me that's really difficult to break, especially because there's nobody in the like on the other side of France here that I can coordinate with to kind of help break this line. Like I'm going to Dutch and Portugal, like offering them, like, oh, if you can send a unit to Indian Ocean to help me out, I will give you literally whatever you want. That is like word for word what I said to them,
Mhm.
and they still won't do it. So I'm trying everything I can to break this, but I can't. It's just slow. And right now time isn't really on my side because the longer I wait, the closer we get to where France will have bills in this area, and the closer we get to where Jing might just decide to go for the win by themselves
Yeah.
instead. But right, this is the point where I can start just using overwhelming force to start crushing things. This is one of the turns where me and France tried to work out a peace deal. So these moves are sort of negotiated. I did know they were going for Zanzibar, and they did say that I could take Beira from them. So I think it's more worth it to disband the Beira unit
Yes.
and just let them have Zanzibar because the army has just been such a pain to me. I also forced disband Kalahari. I think they wanted to move that unit to Cape Basin. I'm like, oh sure, but yeah,
No.
I need that fleet gone. So yeah. And then I start positioning into Antarctic Basin to start getting it. Spaghetti can
Crush this.
tap Crozet Basin. Yeah, start going that way. It's so annoying that I have to like position in this specific way to crush this, but that's the only realistic way I can like properly pressure France here because the geography here just makes it so painful to get like it's
And
from the
France.
South Atlantic to the other side
And France could have been doing this to
without.
prevent that as well. Funnily.
Yeah, but France just doesn't know how to tactic, so it works out.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Ottomans do end up moving away too, so that works out for me.
Yeah.
Then it's just tactics everywhere else.
All right. Well, forward we go. This is fall. Ayutthaya. Let's see. The Ceylon is lives. Fernando Poe dies. I accept that. I put in an illegal move. Africa, I'm just holding on at this point and being annoying to Poland primarily. And then in Europe, Sweden supports me to kill Russia and Edinburgh because Sweden is just done with the game, which is understandable, I think, right?
Yeah.
I offered him support in Edinburgh, but yeah, he's just done. And I'm the only guy in the game who actually worked with him at any significance. So, upsides. In America... Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just... Don't worry about it.
In America, let's see, we do like some dance with Ushishone, but he does dumb tactics, and I do smart tactics, so I get the dot. It's a very mean way of saying it, but, you know.
This time game is just really... They really could have won this game.
Yeah, like...
But they just repeatedly delayed themselves for no gain.
Vacated any adjacency on Chirimacha. Like, what are we doing?
This is why you don't say no to 3 dots. Like, if you have a weak power next to you, you kill them. And this is why. It's like, you genuinely could have won this game if they had just taken the 3 dots.
Yes, because, and here's how it works, by the way. Because if Ut had taken the dot, they could have had an extra army here and an extra fleet, like here, for example. And just, like, the extra units would have helped crush Athabasca. But as is, Ushishone does not have the power to do that. They don't have the power to crush Athabasca. I mean, they can get, like, this dot, whatever, and Athabasca will do bad tactics, which will, prevent that. But, like, you know, this is...
Yeah, like, these armies, like, moving away from Spain, like, it is better for you to take the Spanish dot and then build closer to the front line. It is quicker for you to do that than it is to pivot these armies north.
Well, not only that, it's even more or even simpler than that, which is what you do is you move like this, right? You take Chirimacha, or I guess you move like this. You take Chirimacha, you line up 3 in Muskogee, and then you come to England and you say, hey, England, I want to attack Spain. And then you say, in exchange for attacking Spain, England, can you support me against Athabasca? Oh my god. Yep. Oh, you can do that? You can have allies?
That could have worked. I mean, Utah literally is, like, throwing this game by not taking Spain's dots here.
Yeah, and, like, they're forcing me into fighting them, and this actually also costs them a dot. I see dot.
Like, so many misplays, honestly. I think they got a sub. Maybe next year they got a sub, but I know they got a sub eventually.
It doesn't change anything. The sub keeps doing the same things. Yes, Ushishone had a chance.
They did.
Yep.
Are we still in spring? I think we are.
No, this is fall.
Okay.
So you make like some minor gains there. You make you get Delagoa finally, and you surround the army.
Yeah, I take Crozet Basin, which is huge. Unfortunately, my clock has run out on France. So France will be building in Madagascar now, and I can't do anything about it. So my position looks really good. There's going to be 2 more units popping down in those cores. So it's going to still be pretty rough for me.
Yep. That's about it. Alright, onwards we go. Winter build 1649. So this is going to 1650. I actually have a bunch of builds because I disbanded some retreats and I got a bunch of dots. I got Fort Detroit, which I got some dots I had no business getting, basically. I got Fort Detroit. I took Anticosti because it was a French unit, not an Inuit one. So I was like, oh, you know, I'll take this, and it's not a violation of my deal with Inuit.
Yeah, Reunion is a French dot that you could take if you wanted.
Yeah, Ceylon. Wait a second. Oh,
hey,
that's what this arrow is. At Ayutthaya used Gulf of Ceylon to support a convoy of Magi to Ceylon. Now, what I'll say is that there are much better uses for Ayutthayan units near the Dutch, such as.
No. You see, that would be making like progress, so they can't be doing that.
No, they gotta sit still. Sit still, okay? You don't need to try.
No. Why do you need to do that?
You don't need to get bills. Qing is not coming to kill you. Qing does not have a sledgehammer, okay? That's a lie. The Qing sledgehammer myth is made up by big competency, and you don't have to listen to them.
The Dutch are actively taking their dots from it too, and they're prioritizing supporting Portugal into you for this is just so dumb. Who
The,
does
the
this?
Dutch are also throwing to Chink, by the way. That's the other thing that's going on here. The Dutch are throwing to Chink.
Oh, is this when the convoy happened? I know Chi tried a convoy to Mapute. I don't know if it was this
oh
like
yeah, there was an army
last
here.
turn or
Yeah, it was last turn.
yeah. And then that was really funny. But I think Dutch was like one of the main people convoying them there, so
Yeah, Dutch
it
were
didn't work, but
throwing,
yeah.
which is fun. Yes, that's what you should do with your time. You should throw games.
We'll always shame people that throw games.
Of all the things for Dutch to do, I think throwing's the most poetic because it's the most game impact you had was in throwing your game away repeatedly, not just to one person, just to everybody, but then to one person.
Yep. Yeah, at least Ching didn't get the solo here, but they did. That honestly would have really left a bad taste in everyone's mouth, I think.
Yeah.
Even after like the announcement saying like, "Hey, don't throw," people still throw.
And there's like no and there's no reason to be throwing either. It's like what did like Congo wrong you in any great way? No. Did Poland do anything like egregious to you? No. I mean, I'd argue nobody did anything egregious to Dutch this game, and she's still throwing.
Yeah, some people just throw to throw, I think.
Some
That's
people
lasting impact.
Yeah, they're like, oh, the only way I can have impact is by throwing. It's like, no, you can have impact by just sitting there and being an asshole, because that's what I did.
Yeah.
I just sat here, and I was like, I came very close to preventing. What I could have done is if I had thrown. Oh wait, we got to go forward. Here we go. Okay, back to builds, right? We'll get to it later, but I could have thrown to have impact, but like, whatever. You'll talk about that in a second. Yeah, builds, I put Oxford and London because I am still in my spiting Poland mode. And because it's kind of funny.
Understandable.
It's kind of funny because Poland was raging in the public not raging, but very upset in the public channel about Sweden supporting me to Edinburgh. So, figure it was poetic to build these two fleets here to, make
Just to give them a little nice present.
Yeah. Oh no, you can't have my dots. Go away. The dots are mine.
Yeah.
This is a nice curtain.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
Yes. You have 2 builds. Armies.
Yeah. So I need 5 more dots to win this game. Poland needs 3. I think Ching is already there.
You can check. Yeah, Ching is over the 100%, and then you're 5 away, Poland 3 away. And then it's Safavids and Oot who are both 15 away.
Yeah, at this point, I've been trying to I've been trying to find some way to where they can still win this, but this final year they kind of realize that they're not getting there. I mean, they don't really get dots from anyone else. I think they're all their units have to defend against Qing and Poland.
Yeah, they botched their invasion of Mughals basically. So if they had gotten in here, right, they would have had a shot, but they didn't, so they don't.
Yeah, but the upside of that is that because they can no longer win, they want to end the game as fast as possible, so they're offering to help me out, which is great, as music to my ears. So I get a lot of help from zombies this final year. I can kind of leverage that into getting my +5, because as it stands right now, I think it's doable, but it's dicey if I can make it. We can get to that in spring, I think.
Yeah, spring moves.
Right,
because there's not much else to talk about really.
Yeah.
It's just Dutch actively throwing, and there's me actively sitting in the way and being annoying.
Yep.
That's about it. All right, moves. So yes.
Yeah.
Complicated.
So this year is kind of just me trying to set up on as many dots as possible. I need to hit the +5 here, and I feel comfortable moving away from Poland because I think it's a really bad idea for Poland to stab me, because then I'd still be blocking their win, because I'd still be 35% below them and Qing. So it would just delay the game by an extra few years. I could bring some artists to death before them in Western Africa. So I feel comfortable moving away from them.
And if they stab you here, then I have a chance to throw dots to whoever to prevent Poland from having as good of a win as well. Which
so
I think they know that I would do, because I would do that.
Yeah, I feel pretty safe doing that. So I get Softbeats to move down to Seychelles B. That's because these French builds here, like you see how crappy the position here is now with all these French fleets.
Yes.
But that fleet in Seychelles C, I can actually kind of set up on it. And so there is a meme convoy idea between Softbeats and Inuits to get that Zulu army to Riata. And they want my help with it, obviously.
That?
So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, the idea was for Softies to initially go to Indian Ocean, and I would like support whole Crozet Basin, and then we would convoy Inuits there and Salt. Like actually, I tell them that I'll move there instead with the Antarctic Basin. So I'll do the convoy from Crozet and Indian Ocean, and then I'll kind of complete the convoy that way. I have no intentions of actually doing this.
Yeah, no, we're in it to win it. We're not in it to some sort of stupid little convoy.
I need as many dots as possible to make sure I hit that +5. So I just need Softies in Seychelles to like make sure I can get like an extra on a French unit here, and then Abyssinia is like soft throwing to me here. They messaged me about half an hour before the phase ended saying that like they wouldn't directly give me dots, but they wouldn't really input the world's greatest moves to defend themselves either.
Cowards.
I didn't quite expect. I didn't really expect for them to move away from me like this, but I mean it works for me, right? So I'll take it.
This is like this is like if you two are having like a sword duel, and he's like and at this point you've like cut his leg or something, so he can't move very well. Instead of like trying to back up and parry, he's just like full on launching himself, right? Like vaguely, like he's falling on your sword basically.
I can see Cairo tries to support me into Tripoli here. I set up on Hawar instead because I know that Cairo is going to be tapped.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm just setting up on as many dots as I can here. The south is going pretty well for me. I do lose Crozet Basin, but initially I was going to like try to convoy Soyo over to Madagascar, into Marina, and I ditched that idea because I can just like retreat the fleet there. Obviously, France is gonna like support themselves then. Yeah. Also, because we're doing the convoy, I get Inuits to support me to Mapondo. Like initially, that's what's gonna happen. I would just take Mapondo from Crozet, and I could like force disband that fleet that way. But this looks better for me because I can now take Mapondo and then like
you can go
retreat to and I can set up for even more dots that way. And then I'm also setting up for Marstad in South America.
Yeah.
So, I do actually tap this Portuguese unit for a reason. I want Dutch to kind of like not defend Marstad here because they do have 4 units on it right now.
Yeah. So you want them to get a unit out of the way.
Yeah. That's why I tap this Portuguese unit. I make sure that Dutch knows that I'm going to do that. That I'm doing that specifically to help them out, so that they'll be less inclined to see all my South Atlantic fleets this turn as hostile to them. But the intention here is to 100% take their dot from them as just an extra +1 to get me over the line. So, yeah, that's my plan at least.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm more just doing tactics at this point. I'm like, knowing in Africa, this is just holding off Poland as much as I can from getting at Canaries, basically. In Europe, it's fighting Poland. I'm offering Austria just throw dots at him because I think that might keep the game going, and it's annoying for Poland specifically. I see Poland's tactics coming, so I cover Iceland base and then force him into North Sea. And then I cover Southern Bight and Wadden Sea as well, so he has to retreat either to York or to Norwegian Sea. And there are no good options there. In North America, I try to convoy to Nescapi, but Inuit is not a fan of me forcing France to retreat, so that's a little bit of a fight. Yeah, Inuit is now like coming down here to fight me for it, which is like, if you wanted me to not take dots, you should not have given dots to France, I think, is the correct interpretation of this.
It's so weird. It is just a back and forth between France and the
Inuit.
Yeah.
Inuit never just killed them.
Yeah, they could just kill each other. I hate that they're working together here because it makes so much sense for them to stab each other. And in South Africa, just oh my god, it's so painful. Because I did take the dot in South Africa from them, and they retreated to Zulu instead of disbanding the
army,
which just annoyed me even more.
Yeah, because if they had that build, they could have put it like here, for example. But whatever. Some people.
Yeah. Some people, indeed.
Yep. Down here, Bermuda's basically lost this year. I'm just throwing in annoying tactics to kind of shake things up. Puerto Rico gets forced? Yes, because Poland has a fleet in South Atlantic to tap Leeward Sea. So that support doesn't work, and I have to retreat that. But other than that, I hold Guiana Current because Netherlands is attacking me again. Because why not, right? Why not? That's about it. I really don't have anything else to do in this game.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, onwards to fall.
So, a funny thing happens here is that Portugal goes to me and Poland, and Portugal also wants the game to end this year, so they offer free support into Reunion for me, which I am very happy to take. You know, I won't say no to that. And oh no, the convoy to Riyadh won't work anymore because France took Crozet Basin. Who could have seen that one coming? It gets even funnier because I managed to lie my way into convincing Starfleet and managed to convince them that this convoy is going to work and that France will do the convoy.
Yeah.
And then I went to France at like the very beginning of this phase. It's like, hey, you should just do the convoy anyways. It'll be funny. And they're like, no, I hate you. I will never convoy. So I go back to the spot where we're playing the convoy. Yeah, and I'm like, okay, France is in. So let's do the convoy.
They just don't verify it.
And they just don't check it with France. It has no right to work. But yeah, the reason I'm doing that is so France and they don't like support themselves into Mapondo. Like even if they did, it wouldn't work because I'm tapping both Zulu and Rosette here. But just in case, right?
Yeah, just in case.
But yeah, Safi supports me to Sakalava. Abyssinia just it continues not to really defend themselves. And they do support me to Tripoli, which doesn't get tapped this time. And it's all like coming up salt right now. And then for Marnstad, I actually ended up supporting Poland in.
Actually, you don't even support Poland in. He just lands there.
Oh, true. I actually did plan to support Poland in, but I think they misordered one of the fleets here.
Yeah.
In South Atlantic.
Yes. Yeah, you did.
Yeah. Yeah. But it works anyways. We weren't sure Poland would get that third dot. They're gonna get Cabo Verde and Spitsbergen from Mapuche. The third one was kind of like up in the air, like on tactical guesses against you. So we were like, we'll just get you Marstad to make sure. They get off of Spain though in Cape Haitian because Spain doesn't defend.
Classic Spain.
So Poland goes, yeah. So Poland goes +4, but yeah, we just gave them Marstad to like guarantee it. So yeah, it kind of works out.
So after all of this time, after all that war, Poland ends with only 5 dots in the Caribbean, and one of them is just because their ally, they stabbed their ally. That's funny.
They didn't get anything off of you.
They literally get nothing out of stabbing me. Nothing. Well, Marrakesh, I guess, but whatever.
Yeah, it doesn't really count. It
Agreed.
doesn't count, I think.
Yeah, Austria takes Nantes because I kind of want them to like have dots, but it doesn't matter anymore. This is, I don't know what's going on there. I'm not gonna think about that too hard. And that about does it, I think, right? Well, we'll go to the next slide, right?
Yeah, there is something I want to note on the final board sports state here. So, the percentage here between the top 3 and Ute is very, like, there's 35% margin, right? So if Ute had like one more dot, or if I had like a couple less, then Ute would be within 35% range. So this is what I was saying earlier, how Ute was basically throwing by not attacking Spain. If they had taken those few dots earlier, even if they had just taken them like last year and gotten a snowball that way, like Chitamacha alone probably would have done it for them.
Yeah, if they had a unit here to take this, or if they had worked with me against Spain, they would have maybe gotten into Catawba like this.
Yeah, or they had done like a few years earlier and like gone to stab against like up north, going better for them. Then they could have forced the game to go on longer, and we probably would have like let them into the final win, because it'd be easier to get them in the win than it would be to like win without them.
Yes.
They could have like forced their way into the win here had they made smart moves. So that's why you take the free dots and you attack weak powers that can't fight back.
Yeah, they got a lot of dots in this last year. It just didn't matter because they didn't have enough.
Yeah. If I had like +8 for me here is genuinely insane. I was not expecting all my guesses to work out. Like, this is a lot of luck on my part, to be fair.
Mm-hmm.
If I had only gone like +6, then they would actually threaten to win. The game would go on in the next 3 years. So just a combination of them making poor decisions earlier and me just again insane turn here.
Yeah. I gotta say, it's very funny that despite everything that happened to me, I still ended above Inuit and Spain in Ayutthaya.
Inuit on 15 dots is insane. Inuit was such a pain in my ass this game. Like,
Same.
I hated it so much. France too.
Well, France had
they were
5.
They were a pain in Blitz, and they were a pain here.
Well, that's about it, I think.
Yep. Thanks for watching, everyone.
Yeah, depressing position to be England at the end, but you know, we live. So yeah, thanks for watching. If you're still listening, I don't know how you get through all that, but congratulations. And I think we're gonna, I don't know, go to bed. This is a lot of time to talk diplomacy.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
See ya.